of Alexandria in the Mediterranean Sea. An Egyptian army spokesman adding Cairo's jets and naval vessels found parts of the aircraft as well. The flight dropped off radar just after entering Egypt's airspace early morning local time Thursday. This as Egyptian airport officials say French and British investigators are in Cairo to join the investigation to ascertain why the plane crashed. Egyptian officials believe it's likely terrorism. Dave.
Jessica, FBI Director James Comey says.
So far, at least, we have no claim of responsibility or evidence that this was an intentional act. But the FBI, as you would expect, is working with our partners around the world to try and gain a better understanding of what happened.
And Fox's Catherine Herridge reports.
A counterterrorism source who tracks al-Qaeda and ISIS for the government said they're going back through the chatter over the last 72 hours to assess if something was missed or has new significance.
Donald Trump believes the plane was blown out of the sky. And for anyone who doesn't think so,
you're 100% wrong. And it's getting worse.
His presidential rival, Democrat Hillary Clinton, also says it appears to be terror, but took another shot at Trump in a CNN interview.
Do you think that Donald Trump is qualified to be president?
No, I do not.
The lead terror suspect in November's deadly Paris attacks was brought into a French court this morning. When Salah Abdeslam refused to answer questions, the session was abruptly ended. A shakeup in San Francisco's police department.
I've asked Chief Sir for his resignation.
And Chief Greg Sir has stepped down like Mayor Ed Lee wanted hours after another fatal police shooting, the third in San Francisco in 5 months. A black woman who was shot after crashing a stolen car. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Partly cloudy, and in Chicago this morning we have 48 degrees, a moonlit sky. At 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Jury selection is set to begin in the murder-for-hire trial of a former suburban police officer accused of plotting to kill the prosecutor who put him behind bars in his third wife's death. 62-year-old Drew Peterson was convicted in 2012 of first-degree murder. Kathleen Savio's death 8 years earlier initially was ruled an accident. Prosecutors reopened that case after the 2007 disappearance of Stacy Peterson, the ex-Bolingbrook sergeant's 23-year-old fourth wife. Peterson is now charged with soliciting a fellow inmate to find someone he could pay to kill, Will County State's Attorney James Glasgow. Authorities say one of two suspects in the slayings of 6 family members whose bodies were found in a Chicago house in February was related to the family, and the motive was robbery. Police announced charges yesterday against 22-year-old Diego Uribe and his girlfriend, 19-year-old Japheth Ramos. Police Chief Eugene Roy explains what led to the arrest of Uribe.
The break in the case came yesterday when detectives learned that DNA evidence recovered at the scene linked Diego Uribe to the scene. Additionally, cell phone records also link Uribe to the scene.
Uribe was a cousin of one of the family members. Both Uribe and Ramos are charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert is ordered to report to prison by June 22nd. The 74-year-old was sentenced to 15 months behind bars for banking violations related to hush money payments made to an alleged sex abuse victim. A suspect in the killing of a Chicago teen is on the FBI's most wanted list. Luis Macedo is charged in the 2009 murder of Alex Ariano. The 15-year-old was shot in the head and then set on fire on the southwest side. One Chicago alderman wants to give homeowners $200 in rebates for linking their outside home security cameras to the city's network. Freshman Alderman Ray Lopez says it would be cheaper than spending $27,000 for just one crime-fighting street camera. Lopez isn't certain what he's proposing is technically feasible, but says he's trying to find as many crime-fighting tools as he possibly can. Chicago sports. Last night it was the White Sox beating Houston 2-1. Chris Sale going the distance on a masterful 4-hitter. First Major League pitcher since 2008 to win his first 9 starts of the season. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 5-3. Jason Hamill allowed 4 runs and 5 hits over 6 innings of work. The news service of Cabela's. Don't miss Cabela's Memorial Day sale. Kick off the summer with huge savings like 50% off Cabela's Deluxe Flotation Vest and 20% off select Keen footwear. And join them for their Hometown Heroes celebration Thursday through Sunday. In Hoffman Estates or Hammond, Indiana, Cabela's.com. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. There's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
5:06. We want to keep you abreast of the latest developments regarding the Egypt Air Flight 804. The Egyptian Army is announcing for the first time it has located plane debris and passengers' personal belongings. It did so about 190 miles north of the city of Alexandria in the Mediterranean Sea. Dan and Amy will have the very latest on developments related to the downing of that plane. In the meantime, let's get an update on the roads this morning. In our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Good morning. We have some positive news on a couple of major expressways. On northbound I-55, the interstate had been shut down due to a crash that has all reopened now. 55 has all lanes open between Weber and 53. Also, an earlier shooting had the Ryan shut down around 93rd Street. All lanes are open again on the Ryan from the merge to up around 87th. Lakeshore Drive northbound, the entrance ramp from North Avenue remains closed with roadwork. Should be reopening soon. Southbound, the ramp to the Stevenson had been blocked off this morning. That is now open again. Northbound I-65, there is a crash just north of 8094 in the left lane. Traffic is a service of JCPenney Optical. Get to JCPenney Optical for the Memorial Day sale at Louis Joliet Mall. Save 60% off frames and lenses. That's 60% off top designers like Liz Claiborne and Isaac Mizrahi. Visit jcpenneyoptical.com for details or to find a store near you. Sale ends June 4th. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a high 68 and a partly cloudy night, low 49. Then tomorrow, clouds and sun with a high of 72 and a moonlit sky. Tomorrow night with a low 51. Sunday, a mostly sunny day, high 75 and a clear night with a low of 50. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
48 at O'Hare, 52 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Automated Systems Incorporated. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, as it pertains to Egypt Air Flight MS-804, we're still in the more likely than not that it was a terrorist attack. You had Congressman Mike McCall, as chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, said it was more likely an act of terrorism that brought down the plane. But U.S. intelligence officials were saying still as of late yesterday, they hadn't reached a preliminary conclusion, but there was also the indication
There's more likely than not that it was an explosion
on board.
Right.
So
that brought down the flight.
Yeah, a passenger brought the bomb on board, or somebody on the land crew might have planted the bomb on the plane, because they're still interviewing every single person that works in baggage claim that's a mechanic for Egypt Air based in Charles de Gaulle, because that's one of the safest. I've always had the presumption that's one of the safest airports in the world.
Well, it may not be Charles de Gaulle. There's also supposition, and we're still very much in the supposition phase. That a lot of some counterterrorism analysts are suggesting this has the fingerprints of the Muslim Brotherhood, and that it may not have occurred, the planting of the bomb, if that's what bears out, may not have occurred during the 1 hour layover in Paris. It may have occurred in Cairo. So you kind of have to look on the Egypt side of this equation as well as the French side, the Egyptian side as well as the French side. So that's interesting. And also, too, I mean, just reminding people what we're talking about here. Egypt Air, since it was founded in 1971, has kind of had a history of devastating crashes and hijackings. Of course, we talked about the incident, the plane that was taken down by terrorists last year.
Yeah, by an ISIS bomb, and they denied it for almost a year, Egypt Air officials, until just recently. And they denied, you remember that 1999 pilot suicide? I think they're still denying that it was pilot suicide.
Right, that was Egypt Air.
Because there was a Chicagoan on that flight, and they still never claimed responsibility, never came up with a conclusion, but denied that it was pilot suicide.
Cockpit recording in that 1999 Egypt Air flight that killed 217 people near Nantucket. Cockpit recording captured the co-pilot muttering, "I rely on God," over and over as the plane slammed into the ocean. So, to your point, there was also 3 deadly crashes, crash landing in Yemen in 1972, following year in Cyprus on Christmas Day of 76. Egypt Boeing 707 slammed into a factory in Thailand, killing 52 people on board and 19 people on the ground. So over the course of 45 years, those are a lot of catastrophic incidents for Egypt Air. But I suppose now is a good time, if you ever thought about vacationing to Sharm el-Sheikh, this is the time to do it. I wouldn't fly Egypt Air.
Yeah, I wouldn't fly Egypt Air.
I'd fly a major carrier like American or United to Sharm el-Sheikh. This is it's supposed to be a beautiful place. And Egypt's tourism industry, as you may suspect, is suffering a bit. Because of the one terrorist attack from last year and what looks like a terrorist attack yesterday, late Wednesday night.
And the big breaking news this morning, Mike mentioned it, is that parts of the fuselage has been found, and passengers' belongings have been found. And yesterday we came out, you remember, while we were on air, they said that they found some debris. But that was Greek officials, and I think the Greeks and the Egyptians are kind of at odds right now, because the Egyptian army now says that they are in charge of releasing all the information about what is happening and about what they have found or what they have not found. And apparently this is 173 miles off the coast of Egypt near Alexandria, where they found this latest debris. But you remember our guy Derek Van Dam, the meteorologist?
Oh, do I?
All right. Well, he was back this morning.
He's still looking for survivors, suggesting that we're still within the window for a young, healthy person.
Well, yeah, he said that this is by no means a rescue. I mean, by no means a recovery mission. This is a rescue mission. And
it is.
Gave families hope, that maybe their loved one's still alive.
This is still considered a search and rescue operation, so weather, which is fine at the moment, is also a consideration, but so are the water temperatures for the potential of survivors in the water. 65 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit over the eastern Mediterranean as we speak, and if we consider the survival rates for this type of water temperature, 60 to 70 degrees, it depends on if you're a healthy individual, young, or an elderly individual. It really depends, but roughly from 2 hours to about 40 hours.
Was that yesterday
No.
said that?
This is again this morning, but this morning he had graphs. Like he had a survival chart up where if you were young and healthy, you had a bigger chance of survival, and it was a longer column.
Now, he's a meteorologist, not an aviation expert or a counterterrorism expert or anybody with any knowledge of aviation-related matters, right?
And this is, of course, he still is under the assumption it could have been a soft landing
Yeah.
And there could be survivors.
Don't let the parts of the fuselage the passengers' items floating around the crash site fool you. Question now, with respect to the survival rates on that grid.
Yes.
If you're young and healthy, but if you're in many pieces, does that negatively impact your ability to survive in water that is 65 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit?
Possibly.
I'm just
but he went on. He talked about wind condition, wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour today. Of course, it was clear at the time of the crash, but he went on to talk about
a nice day.
Yeah, although this is, according to him, a rescue mission, they're still going to have to search the bottom of the sea.
We have the potential for wind gusts in excess of 40 miles per hour as a cold front moves through this region. And if they do, and when they do, start scouring the sea floor of the eastern Mediterranean, it's very interesting to note that the depths of the sea across this region range anywhere between 8,000 and 11,000 feet. And with our Google Earth capabilities, we can actually go into the seabed, and you can see it's a relatively smooth area. So this is going to allow for remotely operated vehicles to properly scour this sea floor, searching for any signs of wreckage.
All right, so let me ask a follow-up question
yes,
then to Jean-Claude Van Damme. If you are a young, healthy male, say between 25 and 44, how long can you survive 8,000 feet below sea level?
Probably not long, but the Google image that they showed at the bottom of the sea, but there's no vehicles around there kicking up the sand and the debris, down there at the bottom. So it was a clear shot, because nothing's down there yet.
So isn't that where the snorks live? Now, were they in any way negatively impacted by the debris that is settling on the bottom of the ocean floor, 8 to 11,000 feet below the surface of the sea?
Uh-huh.
I mean, a lot of questions that Derek Van Dam or Jean-Claude Van Damme, whichever Van Damme
I
like
raises. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
That's good. But because they went back to the anchors. And
Talk about double impact.
Yeah, the anchors looked a little bewildered by his report because he's the only one claiming it's a rescue mission right now.
Somebody really wants to be a star, don't they? Somebody really wants this to be their breakout moment, don't they?
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Big fun Friday. Just kidding. For your Friday, we're going to have times of clouds and sun, a high of 69 degrees. And then your weekend looks pretty good, folks. Set up your tea times if you want. We're going to have on Saturday some clouds and sun, a high of 71 degrees. And on Sunday, mostly sunny, pleasant, a high of 75 degrees. Anything pleasant on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. And yes, Amy, there is good news. Northbound I-55 is completely open again between Weber and 53. The interstate was shut down there after an earlier collision. And we do have the Ryan open again near 93rd Street. The inbound Ryan was closed after a shooting on the roadway in that area. Northbound I-65 just north of 8094, there is a crash in the left lane. The Indiana Toll Road has construction delays. Eastbound from 94 to State Road 49 and westbound State Road 49 to the Portage exit. North Avenue, the ramp to northbound Lakeshore Drive is reopened. It was closed for overnight work. They'll have track work this weekend on the CTA Blue and Green lines. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Alice, owner of a growing company. Our entire business depends on our phones, so I was challenged when our phone service providers struggled to deliver our calls. Missed calls means lost revenue. I heard Innovative Networks helped AM 560, so I called. They provided an innovative solution that reinforced our phone infrastructure and enhanced call flow. I truly appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing us a solution that scales as my business expands. They even replaced our outdated phone system and provided hands-on training to maximize our capabilities. Amazingly, it cost us nothing. I'm saving money and more focused on growing my business. I'm thrilled with Innovative Networks.
Follow Alice's lead and call Innovative Networks. Call 312-453-7777. That's 312-453-7777. Or visit go4inet.com. Are you happy with your carrier?
Now that spring has arrived, it's likely you're looking forward to the warmer weather. But if you're a business owner, facilities manager, or maintenance engineer, you risk the same potential problem every year. A complete system failure. In fact, up to half of all commercial air conditioning units fail upon startup each season due to the lack of regular maintenance and repair. Let the professionals at Air Comfort make a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system before there's a problem. A poorly operating air conditioning system results in uneven temperatures and humidity problems, leading to unhealthy mold and mildew growth. Don't compromise your business's overall air quality. Schedule today with Air Comfort. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Even if you're under contract with another provider, let Air Comfort provide your second opinion. After all, there's a reason why hundreds of businesses have trusted Air Comfort with their mechanical maintenance for more than 80 years. That's Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
Hey, this is David Hall from Draft Tech. I've got a message for all you project engineers and project managers out there. Have you ever trudged through your engineering department and wondered if you were getting the best bang for your buck? A dirty little trade secret is that contract engineers are only doing engineering work about 20% of the time. The other 80% of the time, they're doing work for which they're not particularly well suited nor well trained. At the end of the day, you're paying engineering rates for jobs that don't require engineers, and those tasks aren't even necessarily being done well. If you really want to add value to your project and hold the bottom line, focus on getting the right people with the right experience in the right positions. That's where we come in. Draft Tech. DraftingResults.com. We've got drafters, designers, and line walkers, piping, electrical, and mechanical. We've got the 3D plant software, AutoCAD, MicroStation, and SolidWorks. Let Draft Tech put the value back in your project. That's Draft Tech. Check us out at DraftingResults.com. Cutting edge technology, old school service.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, here's a theory about the recent spat of unbelievably long lines to get through TSA at our nation's airports. That this has nothing to do with morale. This has nothing to do with understaffing. This has nothing to do with lack of federal funding. It's a blue flu power grab by the union.
Oh.
That this was a purposeful. You know, one of the things we've talked about with this is, wait a second, I've flown 5 or 6 times this year. You have as well recently.
This week.
That didn't have any problems.
No,
and
there
then
were a few long lines, but nothing crazy, nothing out the door.
nothing 2 hours to wait.
No,
nothing people missing flights, having sleepover. And you see the stories throughout the nation. And see, this has to be like a recent phenomena. So all of the sudden they have understaffing and underfunding problems.
So
No.
like a planned sick out, especially on a Sunday night when a lot of people are traveling.
Yeah,
So
effectively.
they have to set up cots. Mm-hmm.
Well, Michelle Malkin writes on this topic, and she basically says that it's the TSA's union power grab that's slowing down the airports. They are looking to expand collective bargaining rights, TSA workers' representation, and expanding union bosses' authority to dictate every last detail of employment, from pay and officer assignments to schedules and uniforms. Full bargaining rights under Title V of the U.S. labor law have not been extended to TSA agents to protect the agency's flexibility and discretion in the interest of national security, because remember, that's the point. And the TSA union bosses don't like it. So there's some reason to believe that all of this is somewhat purposeful.
Well, it seemed very peculiar to me when they were having hearings on Capitol Hill about TSA security, that just when that was happening, oh, look what happened at O'Hare. 450 people missed their flights on American Airlines. It just seemed too ironic that those two were happening at, as parallel action.
Well, and she also, Malkin in her piece also recounts a little helpful institutional memory, which Michelle Malkin is very good at providing. Since last fall, TSA workers in a number of cities have staged protests, major airports, including DFW, JFK, in LA, in Miami, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in Atlanta, organized by AFSCME. Demanding full
your favorite union.
Yeah, right. Demanding full collective bargaining rights along with hefty pay increases. So, thinking about that backdrop and perhaps connecting some dots, Don't you believe in this? Maybe is government shutdown theater redux. Remember 3 years ago when you had the barricades blocking people's access to public parks and other public spaces. And Malkin writes, tongue-in-cheek, I'm not advocating breaking through those long lines in grand acts of civil disobedience. Not yet, anyway. But it's a long past time for sick and tired, beleaguered and molested, robbed and overtaxed travelers to demand respect of their own and call out this selfish, security-undermining big labor power grab. So that's the piece of the story you're not going to get in very many places other than from Michelle Malkin and on this show. But all of this is about TSA and big labor trying to dictate to, well, the federal government and by extension, all of us. Very interesting.
Couldn't they throw it back in their face if we privatize security at our airports? I mean, already 22 airports doing it, including San Francisco. And there's a push now with 4 aldermen and Mayor Emanuel to have our security privatized.
Yeah, but the
or is that just a threat so that they beef up their staffing?
Well, the privatization is in addition to.
Oh,
I mean,
well, they'd be overseen by TSA.
The private security is in addition to. It's not in replace of. Oh, you want to bring more people on to do my job for me? Super. As long as I get my pay increases and benefit packages and and still enjoy my job security, not a problem.
Yesterday there was a strange thing that happened at Midway Airport. There had TSA volunteers, because that's what you want to do on your day off is volunteer, and they tried to show people. They tried to blame the passengers for these long lines. People are trying to get through forbidden items in their carry-on luggage, which exacerbates the wait. So they tried to show that, and the media came and they shot video of what you can and can't pack and what you should and shouldn't pack, and pretty much it was shaming the passengers for their failed agency.
Well, it's a bit absurd. So this demonstration you're referencing that involved TSA volunteers. It's nice that they have time. It's nice that they have time to do theater in the round. Maybe focus on your job. They pretended to be part of the agency's pre-check program. Pre-approved passengers, don't have to wait, don't have to remove shoes as they go through security.
Yeah, you don't have to take out your cell phone or laptop. It's great.
Yeah. So 10 volunteers, few carrying more than one bag or personal item, went through the line twice. Once without any restricted items, and another time with various people carrying a water bottle, a firearm, a knife, or a laptop computer in the bag. Did you catch a firearm?
Yeah, but
TSA official, and here's the upshot.
All right.
TSA officials said it took the group more than 6 minutes to go through the line with the forbidden items, but less than 2 minutes when the volunteers weren't carrying anything problematic. So there's a lesson. I don't know if people who travel are aware of this. If you don't bring firearms and knives through the security line, then you won't have any problem. You'll float
brilliant.
Right through.
I mean, really, this is groundbreaking.
Now, if you do bring firearms and knives, you'll still get through with your firearms
but
and knives.
It's just going to take 6 minutes more longer.
It'll take you 4 minutes more. So that's the lesson from TSA and their sketch comedy routine over there at Midway yesterday.
Oh, my gosh. So the regional spokesman, Mark Howell, he rejected suggestions, Dan, that the aim of the demonstration was to deflect criticism from the agency. They're just trying to show passengers different scenarios and, what it would be like to try and get millions of passengers every day or every year through security checkpoints. So, Dan, don't bring your knives. Don't bring your box cutters. Don't bring your firearm.
Well, I can bring all of that as long as I get to the airport just a little bit earlier to account for the 4-minute differential between not having weapons and having weapons, as I make my way to, Potbelly for a sandwich before I board the plane.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. Statistics show that most people will listen to this commercial 7 times before they finally purchase Balance of Nature. Don't be a statistic. Take action to determine your future.
I just have to tell you, I love Balance of Nature. I've been telling everybody about it. I can't believe how good I feel. Got my husband taking them now, and he's trying to get his mom to take them, because rarely do I take something where I feel a difference. If I'm just taking vitamin D or my multivitamin, I don't really feel a difference. But when I started taking these, I feel a difference. And I said, I can't tell you how good I feel. feel.
Begin giving your body the fruits and vegetables it needs every day. Accept and complete Dr. Howard's 120-day health challenge to earn a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Business owners, I want you to stop and think about the one part of your organization that you simply cannot live without. What comes to mind? Your employees, your location, your customers? How about your technology? Let's face it, everything rests on your network running smoothly and efficiently, and that's where Turnkey IT comes in. They understand the value of your network and the critical role it plays in your company. They will keep your network up and running and resolve any problems 24/7, even on the weekends, so you can focus on the important things. Turnkey IT's team of professionals will respond to you quickly. They won't roll your eyes when you ask them questions or try to dazzle you with confusing technical jargon. This spring, Turnkey IT is offering a free security audit. That's right. Even if you have an IT guy, this free security audit will help you understand if they're keeping your data safe from viruses and hackers. So visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro today and schedule your free security audit. And mention that Amy sent you. That's turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hillary Clinton feels no need to defend Bill's honor, but Andrea Mitchell does. That's at 5:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Outside we have clear skies, 48 degrees. Egyptian Army says it, has found wreckage from Egypt Air Flight 804, which crashed in the Mediterranean early yesterday after disappearing from radar. The former chairman of the NTSB in this country, Jim Hall, says now he's hopeful that the Egyptian government will be transparent in the investigation.
I'm hopeful that this administration will be more forthcoming and more transparent because these investigations are important to everybody that flies in commercial aviation around the world.
An Egyptian Army spokesperson says jets and naval vessels participating in that search found the wreckage and plane debris about 180 miles north of the city of Alexandria. Donald Trump firing back at Hillary Clinton for her recent comments about his stances on Muslims and terrorism. Speaking in New Jersey last night, Trump pointing to the crash of Egypt Air Flight 804.
What just happened about 12 hours ago? A plane got blown out of the sky. And if anybody thinks it wasn't blown out of the sky, you're 100% wrong, folks, okay?
Lead suspect in last November's Paris attacks was brought from a prison in a Paris suburb to the main Paris courthouse today to be questioned about the Islamic State's actions on the continent of Europe. And the investigating judges are hoping Salah Abdul Salam's testimony will shed light on the Islamic State's strategies in France. USA Swimming moving a pre-Olympic training camp out of Puerto Rico because of the Zika virus. No plans to bail, though, yet on the Summer Games in Brazil. San Francisco Police Chief Greg Suarez resigned hours after the death of a young black woman in a stolen car who was shot by police officers. The mayor there asking for Suarez's resignation. A judge holding a key hearing today to determine whether a Michigan man will go to trial for random shootings that killed 6 and injured 2 more in the Kalamazoo area. Jury selection is set to begin in the murder for hire trial of a former suburban police officer accused of plotting to kill the Will County prosecutor who put him behind bars in his third wife's death. 62-year-old Drew Peterson will go on trial in that murder for hire situation from 2012. Metro officials are seeking federal funding to help finance a $3.7 million safety component for its automated collision prevention system, commonly known as Positive Train Control. Illinois lawmakers are moving forward with an automatic voter registration bill in Springfield, while Illinois Auditor General Frank Montino continues to be under investigation over his campaign spending. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 5-3, White Sox over Houston 2-1, and the news a service of JCPenney Optical. Get to JCPenney Optical for the Memorial Day sale at Louis Joliet Mall. Save 60% off frames and lenses. That's 60% off top designers like Liz Claiborne and Isaac Marazzi. Visit jcpenneyoptical.com for details or find a store near you. Sale ends in June. 5:34 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The average Republican voter out there right now is looking for an outsider who will blow the whole damn thing up.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I don't want somebody who comes from Washington. I don't want somebody to get along with Democrats. Not this year. I want the whole system blown up. That's why Trump, or that's why Cruz.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This year, that's where Republican voters are at.
Peer Maps. Hit the open road with free offline turn-by-turn guidance that works anywhere. Get it for your phone at here.com/offline.
Fact. College Illinois 529 prepaid tuition locks in tuition at today's plan rates to help you secure your child's future. Purchase a plan now and lock in your college costs before the May 31st enrollment deadline. Enroll now at collegeillinois.org.
It's the Ready to Ride sales event and time to gear up for your ultimate adventure. Enjoy summertime fun on a Can-Am ATV, side-by-side, Can-Am Spyder, or Sea-Doo watercraft. Hurry in by May 31st and save up to $2,500 on select 2015 models. Plus, get great financing. Get ready to ride because the fun starts now. Visit Nielsen Enterprises in Lake Villa. Subject to credit approval. Restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. For safety and training info, contact the ATV Safety Institute.
Tea times, golf outings, driving range, golf academy, brunch, dinner, weddings, banquets, receptions. Find and do it all at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Info online at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
5:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-65, just south of US 30. There's a rollover crash blocking the shoulder. Farther north, a crash north of 8094 has cleared out of the left lane. The Indiana Toll Road has construction delays, eastbound from 94 to State Road 49, westbound from 49 to the Portage exit. Edens is fine, Kennedy as well. The Eisenhower is still looking good, getting a little heavy past Manhunt. Stevenson has delays. Cicero to Kedzie, 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 17 minutes, 8094 to the Ryan. Everything has cleared. The inbound Ryder, 93rd after an earlier shooting, which closed the roadway. Traffic is a service of GoToMeeting. Be a meeting MVP. GoToMeeting is the online meeting tool that lets you easily collaborate and present from anywhere with one click, so you always put on your best performance. Step up your meeting game and start your free trial at GoToMeeting.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Clouds and sun, 69 today, partly cloudy, and 49 overnight. Currently 48 at O'Hare, 52 along the lakefront. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by M.J. Miller & Company Jewelers. All that glitters is gold at M.J. Miller in downtown Barrington.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, this is interesting. New York Times survey.
I just want to say, in the survey says...
Head-to-head, Richard Dawson is 47 Clinton, 41 Trump, although a notation here,
Thank you.
47% of registered voters, not likely voters. Big difference.
Big difference there?
It's basically still a dead heat. You had a Fox poll with Trump up 3.
Yeah, 45 to 42. See how I did the numbers there?
You had a Rasmussen poll with Trump up 5.
So were those two last polls you mentioned, were those registered voters or likely voters?
Likely voters was the Rasmussen, I know. I think Fox News was too. But basically what we have is a dead heat. But here's the thing that's interesting about the New York Times CBS News poll. 8 in 10 Republican voters say their leader should support Trump even if they disagree with him on important issues. Unfavorable views of Trump among Republican voters down 15 percentage points in the last month, with only 21% of Republicans now expressing an unfavorable view of him, down from 36% in April. So the point is, you have consolidation, you have unification, you have Republican primary voters, even if they didn't like Trump, saying essentially this is an exercise in moral relativism. I don't like Trump. I don't like Hillary more. You'll have the same consolidation go on in the Democratic Party when Hillary Clinton is the nominee and Bernie Sanders is officially dispatched. Say, I don't like Hillary Clinton, but Trump, the alternative, is worse, or I'm a Democrat, and so what I do is vote Democrat. So that is going to happen. It's going to happen for Trump. And so a lot of this third-party talk, as you have seen, has dissipated, and Mitt Romney's thrown up his hands.
Mark Cuban's not going to be a third-party run.
Give me a break.
He claims that they reached out to him to ask him.
The only thing that's interesting about a potential third party has nothing to do with the never-Trumpers inside the Republican Party and has everything to do with Gary Johnson. If Gary Johnson, who I think is hovering around 10% in the polls right now, if he can get to 15 and get into the debates come the fall, then in this election cycle, who knows what could happen? No idea. But that notwithstanding, it is important to note, as predicted, that you're going to end up probably with a very small percentage of self-identified regular Republican voters who will certainly not vote for Hillary, but who will sit out the race, who will kind of abide the Never Trump hashtag campaign.
But isn't sitting out a vote for Hillary?
That's what Republicans would argue, is that if you're a Republican and you don't participate, then
that's a vote for Hillary. So just plug your nose, go into the polling booth, get it done, and walk out.
Like you're doing.
Yes, please, baby
You announced
steps.
it yesterday.
I don't know what you're talking. No, I know. I've been
we
taking
can
a
play
lot
back
of
the
heat.
tape to refresh your recollection.
I don't want to play back the tape. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I just hope he doesn't step in it again, which I'm just waiting for him to say something off the cuff, something crazy, something bombastic, something, negative about women.
Well, no, Hillary Clinton is the one taking up that cause at present. Hillary Clinton was on with Chris Cuomo.
You know that guy. How do you think he got that job? I mean,
Cuomo.
I'm just wondering. Cuomo.
That name rings
brother,
a bell.
dad.
Yeah.
Connections. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the male version of Chelsea Clinton.
But he's a little bit better than Chelsea. At least he started out in smaller markets.
Chris Cuomo sat down with the cackler, had a bunch of questions for her, including whether or not she thinks Trump is qualified to be president of the United States.
Let me ask you, do you think that Donald Trump is qualified to be president?
No, I do not. And I think in this past week, whether it's attacking Great Britain, praising the leader of North Korea, a despotic dictator who has nuclear weapons, whether it is saying pull out of NATO, let other countries have nuclear weapons, the kinds of positions he is stating and the consequences of those positions, and even the consequences of his statements are not just offensive to people, they are potentially dangerous.
How so?
Do you think Trump is dangerous? Do you think he's unqualified to be president? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, turnkey. That's our turnkey.pro text line. Not just do you think he's unqualified or dangerous, more importantly, do you think that Hillary's line of attack on Trump, and that's a preview of it, you think that will be effective?
You know what? Nothing Donald Trump can do would hurt him right now, because people who love him, and they are his fans. Sorry, they're not constituents. They're fans of his. One person was interviewed, I think it was on NBC last week, who said, well, I feel comfortable with Donald Trump because he's in my living room, and he has been for the past decade every Thursday night. And I thought, oh my God, this is somebody who's voting that they don't care about policy or anything. They just care about having somebody familiar be president.
Well, how about this? Think about this. This demographic that isn't talked about a lot, probably not familiar with Celebrity Apprentice, probably not been in, Donald Trump probably not been in their living rooms. The Amish PAC.
What?
There's an Amish PAC that's
Amish.
been created to support Donald Trump.
Is this the one that appeared in Kingpin, that Amish group?
No. This is real.
This is a real Amish group.
The Amish and Mennonites are one of the most conservative blocks of potential voters you have in this country, and Republicans have done a very poor job over the years of doing that outreach. Yeah, I mean, you really got to knock on doors over there, or buy furniture, I suppose.
There's no email blasts going on?
No. Like I said, Celebrity Apprentice, probably not familiar. And it actually, I mean, it sounds kind of humorous, but it actually makes sense in places like Lancaster County, and in portions of Ohio, in those states, those Rust Belt swing states. I mean, Ohio, certainly, in Pennsylvania, perhaps with Trump, every vote counts. And this is a bloc that would be more likely to potentially vote Republican than Democrat if they're inclined to vote. We have Amish country here, Arcola. Maybe they'll come to Arcola and do some organizing here. Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, home to the largest Amish population in the country. It's about 34,000 people.
Aren't they fascinating? The Amish.
Ever since Witness, yeah. I can't get them out of my head.
Another reason, though, why I can't take Hillary Clinton seriously is because she blamed Donald Trump yesterday for the uptick in terrorist groups.
When you run for president of the United States, the entire world is listening and watching. So when you say we're going to bar all Muslims, you are sending a message to the Muslim world. And you're also sending a message to the terrorists, because we now do have evidence. We have seen how Donald Trump is being used to essentially be a recruiter for more people to join the cause of terrorism.
She's like Karen Lewis. So Karen Lewis says Bruce Rauner is ISIS's new recruit, and Hillary Clinton says Trump is ISIS's new recruiter. And that just goes by without any pushback.
Yeah,
without
nothing. No one says
Is that
anything.
a little over the top? You want to talk about Trump's hyperbole? He's an ISIS recruiter. I mean, seriously. She was also asked, the cackler, do you ever feel compelled to defend your honor, the honor of your husband? And Hillary Clinton said, no, not at all, because we have no honor. No, that was because we have no honor is my parenthetical remark.
Okay.
She said, I know exactly what he's fishing for, meaning Trump, and I'm not going to be responding. She doesn't need to respond. She's got Mrs. Greenspan to do her bidding for her. Here's Andrea Mitchell's report on Trump yesterday after Trump had sat down with Sean Hannity and they went through all the allegations of bad behavior by Bill towards women, including rape. Here's Andrea Mitchell doing what Hillary Clinton doesn't feel the need to do.
It's about groping and fondling and touching against a woman's will. And rape. And rape.
Donald Trump using that word unprompted during an interview last night with Fox News' Sean Hannity, bringing up a discredited and long-denied accusation against former President Bill Clinton.
Well, long denied, yeah, right. Discredited. Juanita Broderick doesn't think so.
What did he do to her?
And Mrs. Greenspan says, her friend, her buddy, the cackler, says, you're supposed to believe women who make an accusation. They have the presumption of belief.
Okay, if she was indeed sexually assaulted or raped as Donald Trump called it, why didn't she file a police report?
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
Do you? Are there instances? I don't
know.
I'll have to be the feminist here. Are there instances
Please.
when a woman is assaulted or raped, where they are ashamed, they're afraid, and so they don't go to the police because they don't want to relive it?
There's a person of power and influence.
Does that happen?
That is the accuser.
He was the governor at the time, I believe.
Yeah, it was 1978.
Yeah. So there's something to that. By the way, speaking of feminists, Camille Paglia, my favorite feminist. She writes in Salon.com. She's a Bernie supporter. The Democrat strategists who prophesy a Hillary landslide over Trump are blowing smoke. Hillary is a stodgily predictable product of the voluminous briefing books handed to her by a vast palace staff of researchers and pollsters, a staggeringly expensive luxury not enjoyed by her frugal, unmaterialistic opponent, Bernie Sanders, my candidate. Trump, in contrast, is his own publicist, a quick-draw scrapper, and a go-for-the-jugular brawler. He is a master of the unexpected. I think that's right, and I think that's why Hillary's going to have real problems with Trump and why he's going to be the next president. And here's the other thing. We talked during the primary until he exited stage left about Jeb Bush and Bush fatigue. Let's not forget, after 25 years of the Clintons, there's a lot of Americans with Clinton fatigue, and that doesn't bode well for the cackler. Tony on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I never thought about the Amish.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget about the Amish.
Amy. Now, what I want to point out here is that Amy kind of stole my thunder. Our adult American population that don't care about politics are the type of people that will vote for Trump just because he had a TV show and that's where they know him from. They're comfortable with him. other than that, I agree. I can't see. I think we're going to have a Trump president here. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Chill out.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Today, partly cloudy skies, a high of 69 degrees. And then your weekend looks pretty good. Saturday, some partly sunny skies, a high of 71. And on Sunday, we'll have mostly sunny skies and pleasant, a high of 75 degrees. Let's get the travel times on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Inbound Eisenhower, slow Manheim to first, 33 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound still fine at 29. The Edens and the Kennedy are delay-free for now. Inbound Stevenson, stop and go, First Avenue to Kedzie. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound at Western Avenue, some debris, metal debris in the left lane. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge, BC 420. The Illinois tollways look good. The Indiana toll road has construction delays. Eastbound 94 to State Road 49 and westbound 49 to the Portage exit. Crash on northbound I-65 south of US 30 in Merrillville. There's a crash on the shoulder there. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Special announcement. Backed by popular demand, the big Home Remodeling Expo. A free home show that's open to the public is coming to the DuPage County Fairgrounds this weekend only. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or siding, then this is the event for you. At this two-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get new ideas, set up estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Maybe you need a new furnace, state-of-the-art generator, or just a handyman. You'll find everything you need under one roof. Not only will you get a free gift at the door, but come to the show between 10 a.m. and noon on Saturday, May 21st for a chance to win a key that could start a brand new Harley Davidson. Remember, the DuPage County Home Remodeling Expo this weekend only at the fairgrounds in Wheaton. Get more information at homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
If you're looking for a better shooting experience, imagine shooting virtually all your firearms the same day. You can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, or compete in a 3-gun match. You can exercise that rifle out to 600 yards, even engage in a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. Do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Whether you're a novice looking for a basic course or an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, even if you want to participate in your favorite shooting event such as IDPA or cowboy action shooting, spend an enjoyable day with the family at the Aurora Sportsman's Club, the only shooting facility in the region that offers all of that and more. If that sounds interesting, don't miss the next orientation and a tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois. Call the membership department at 815-264-9000 extension 44 for information. That's 815-264-9000 extension 44 to join a one-of-a-kind shooting facility. The Aurora Sportsman's Club. You know the name Barbara Walters. Now remember the company, Ameritrust Mortgage.
Ameritrust Mortgage was formed along with a talented professional staff that makes your mortgage process easy, swift, and cost-efficient for you, the home buyer, and for those who refinance. Ameritrust is all-inclusive, start to finish, the way lending should be. At Ameritrust, we believe it has been our privilege to have helped thousands of people over 30 years with purchasing or refinancing their home. We are here to help. Let us customize a loan program for your specific needs, FHA, VA, or conventional. At Ameritrust, the responsibility belongs to me. It's my name on the door. I am the president. I am Barbara Walters. Call Ameritrust now, 815-459-7303. Again, that number is 815-459-7303. Or visit us at am560myhome.com.
Ameritrust Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee number 720. NMLS number 217229.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so this is a story we've covered from the beginning. It's about Illinois Auditor General Frank Montino, who is a 2-decade state rep from the LaSalle County area.
Oh, yeah, that spent, $213,000 on auto repairs and filling up his tank?
Yeah.
At a mom-and-pop gas station?
A couple $100,000 with a local bank for services the local bank doesn't provide. Well,
Oh, yeah, and then his wife's restaurant, $30,000 at her pizza place.
Only 10 Republicans mustered the courage to vote against his confirmation back in the day. That was the few number that was actually paying attention. And even fewer were willing to, well, I should say no more were willing to make statements after his curious campaign spending came to light. But the ones that were ahead of the learning curve, and there were a couple of dozen that, in terms of both Republican legislators and candidates that deserve credit for stepping out. Certainly no Democrats were doing it. They deserve credit for stepping out. And several months later now, where does this lead? Well, yesterday it was confirmed that Frank Martino, the Illinois Auditor General, is under federal investigation. He has had staff members subpoenaed by the federal government. He's not talking because he says he has to protect his individual rights, like the one against self-incrimination.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
You don't need a real estate agent with gimmicks. You need the selling power that only Ed Lukasik Jr. can give you.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know how to maximize the sale of your home.
Ed is listed in the top 30 RE/MAX agents nationwide.
When I list a home for you, I only represent you, not the buyer. I am fighting for your highest home value.
Ed Lukasik Jr., the #1 RE/MAX agent in Illinois for most closed listings.
I use the latest online and mobile technologies to market your home and drive buyer activity to my listings. That equals maximum exposure for my sellers.
Ed closed 260 homes last year. That's a home sold every 1.5 days.
I am an agent that has your best interests at heart. It's not about a quick sale. It's about negotiating to maximize every dollar so you get the highest value for your home.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454. 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals. RE/MAX Professionals.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today. CertaPro.com. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
America has a serious narcotics problem. 90% of the world's narcotics are taken by Americans. They have a place, but when you're dealing with chronic pain, pain that doesn't go away or which frequently returns, there is a better way. You're masking the pain. We help you find and deal with the source of the chronic pain to get real relief. This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in pain. Our team are national leaders and we're educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. Contact us. We will help you. You don't have to live with chronic pain. We treat all pain. We don't mask it with painkillers and narcotics that are not good for you and which can be addictive. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
From team nicknames to transgender bathrooms, how progressives are heroes in their own apocryphal civil rights stories at 6:06.
And later, we'll get the latest on Egypt Air Flight 804 when Dr. Waleed Ferris joins us at 6:36. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good Friday morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, jury selection set to begin in the murder-for-hire trial of Drew Peterson. Authorities say one of two suspects in the slayings of 6 family members whose bodies were found in a Chicago house in February was related to the family. The brother of a Sycamore girl killed in 1957 is added to his request for a special prosecutor in the dismissed murder case against Jack McDullough. Chris Sale improves to 9-0 with an outstanding outing last night for the White Sox. Times of clouds and sun in your weather forecast with a high of 69. Complete look at weather after Fox News, WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They found what they're looking for in the Mediterranean. Wreckage from the Egypt Air flight that crashed going from Paris to Cairo with 66 people on board. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, plane debris and passengers' personal belongings from Egypt Air Flight 804 was located off the coast of Alexandria, Egypt. Egypt's military confirming the find just hours ago. Egyptian airport officials say Cairo's chief investigator will be joined by British and French officials to help inspect the wreckage that was found some 190 miles off the coast. There are 5 countries involved in the search, including the U.S. Navy. Egypt's president also making his first public statement about the tragedy, expressing deep sadness and regret. Dave.
Now, Jessica, there's much speculation terrorists brought the plane down, but FBI Director James Comey says there's no indication yet and no claim of responsibility. Donald Trump says it was.
If anybody thinks it wasn't blown out of the sky, you're 100% wrong, folks, okay?
His presidential rival, Democrat Hillary Clinton, tells CNN he is just not fit for office.
The consequences of his statements are not just offensive to people, they are potentially dangerous.
The lead terror suspect in the deadly attacks in Paris, who said he wanted to tell all, doesn't say a thing in court in France this morning. Fox's Simon Owen live in our European Bureau.
Dave, Salah Abdeslam delivered to court amid high security in Paris to be questioned for the first time by anti-terror judges. French authorities hope he will shed light on the strategies of ISIS in Europe. But in court today, he refused to speak. His lawyer saying Abdeslam invoked his right to silence, also saying the suspected terrorist is unhappy about his conditions in prison, specifically being under 24-hour video surveillance. Dave?
Simon, Iraqi troops score a victory in Iraq as they found little resistance, U.S. military officials say, from ISIS fighters who ran as Iraqi troops took back a town. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
In Chicago this morning, we have some clouds as the sun begins to break through this morning at 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. 48 degrees, and jury selection set to begin in the murder for hire trial of a former suburban police officer accused of plotting to kill the prosecutor who put him behind bars in his third wife's death. 62-year-old Drew Peterson was convicted in 2012 of first-degree murder. Peterson is now charged with soliciting a fellow inmate to find someone he could pay to kill Will County State's Attorney Jim Glasgow. Authorities say one of 2 suspects in the slayings of 6 family members in February was related to the family, and the motive was robbery. Police announcing charges yesterday against 22-year-old Diego Uribe and his girlfriend. Chief Eugene Roy explains what led to the arrest of Diego Uribe.
The break in the case came yesterday when detectives learned that DNA evidence recovered at the scene linked Diego Uribe to the scene. Additionally, cell phone records also link Uribe to the scene.
Authorities found the bodies February 4 in a Gage Park neighborhood. Illinois Senate pushing forward a plan to legalize daily fantasy sports betting in the state. Lawmakers approving a measure that would impose regulations on sites like DraftKings and FanDuel, but the House has put a brick on that legislation for now. The brother of a Sycamore girl killed in 1957 has added to his request for a special prosecutor in that dismissed murder case against Jack McCullough. McCullough was sentenced to life in prison in 2012, but the successor to the state's attorney who prosecuted that case says a review found major flaws in the investigation. McCullough was released April 15. And life moves pretty fast for most of us. It's been 30 years since Ferris Bueller got up with Cameron and Sloan and decided to take a day off. Well, fans are celebrating all things Ferris Bueller this weekend at Ferris Fest here in the Chicago area. Special screenings of the movie, visits from some of the cast, an incredibly detailed recreation of Ferris's bedroom. Yes, down to the life vest and 1980s computer. By the way, Chicago Magazine calculated if Ferris Bueller took his day off today, it would cost about $1 million. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 5-3. White Sox over Houston 2-1. Chris Sale now 9-0. The news, a service of Burger King Breakfast. Right now at Burger King, get an awesome deal on breakfast. 2 Chris Sandwich breakfast sandwiches, $4, piled high with thick-cut bacon and savory sausage, fluffy eggs, melted cheese, two-crustacean sandwich for $4. Only at Burger King, limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes it's a good idea for Trump to hold on to his tax return.
It's going to look confusing, and it's going to be distorted and twisted by a media that's going to say, see, he didn't pay his fair share. He paid only 22% of his income in taxes because he used this loophole and that loophole. Well, that's the way you guys set it up. So I actually think Trump's smart not to release his taxes because there's no good that's going to come out of it.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Flex Execs is a talent recruiting firm who, for almost 3 decades, has helped their clients become more competitive by identifying the right talent for interim assignments or special projects at the mid to senior level. Flex Execs' roster of talent is superior and unmatched. Flex Execs will help you meet your deadlines and goals, control costs, and place the right people who will deliver desired results. Whether you need one person or a team of people in HR, accounting, finance, marketing, operations, or senior leadership, Flex Execs can help. Their clients trust them to find the right people fast who produce results immediately. Connect online with Flex Execs at flex2016.com or call 630-655-0563 and ask for Chris Swanson or Karen Murphy. That's 630-655-0563 or online at flex2016.com. Flex Execs, proud to be a sponsor of Dan and Amy's Business Tour. Flex Execs online at flex2016.com. Flex2016.com. Flex Execs, moving business at the speed of trust.
Not available in all states. Introducing the most exciting new franchise opportunity in years. Reese and Irvy's world's first frozen yogurt vending robot. The revolutionary high-tech, first-of-its-kind approach to frozen yogurt franchising. These robots are a huge hit in malls, movie theaters, supermarkets, practically anywhere. If you're looking to start your own franchise and be the first in your market to unveil this exciting high-profit kiosk, find out how we can help you secure premium locations. Locations are going fast, so act now. Just go to froyofranchising.com. That's froyofranchising.com.
It's the Ready to Ride sales event and time to gear up for your ultimate adventure. Ride the waves or take on trails with control and peace of mind. Sea-Doo watercrafts and Can-Am ATVs are engineered to perform and excite. Get your Sea-Doo starting at $51.99 and save up to $1,000 on select 2015 Can-Am ATVs.
Ebony Belcher of Northeast Washington says she went to the Giant supermarket at 3rd and H Streets Northeast this afternoon with a friend who had to pick up a delivery from Western Union at the customer service desk. She says she asked a store employee to point her to the restroom, passing a female security officer standing in the hallway. Once inside the restroom, Belcher says something very disturbing happened.
She opened the door.
Thanks, Mike and Doug Kennedy. Stop and go from the River Road to Cumberland. 22 minutes.
You guys cannot keep coming in here using our women's restroom. They did not pass the law yet. She grabbed me and pushed me out of the store.
37 minutes, Thorndale to downtown.
Little did she know I have Parkinson's disease.
Jamming up early again.
She grabbed me.
First from the Veterans Memorial Tollway to Cass, then from First Avenue to Kedzie. 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 35 from the Tri-State. Outbound Western Avenue, some debris has been moved to the left shoulder by IDOT crews. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Mission 427, northbound I-65 from Merrillville. It's a crash just south of US 30, but it's on the shoulder. Traffic service of timeshareexitteam.com. Feel like you're trapped in your timeshare contract? Get out now safely and legitimately at timeshareexitteam.com. They'll get you out or give you a full refund. Call 844-321-EXIT. 844-321-EXIT. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds and sun, high 68. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 49. Tomorrow, clouds and sun, high 72. A moonlit sky for tomorrow night with a low 51. Then mostly sunny for Sunday with a high of 75. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
48 at O'Hare, 52 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Do you think that Donald Trump is qualified to be president?
No, I do not.
It's about groping and fondling and touching against a woman's will. And rape. And rape.
Donald Trump using that word unprompted, bringing up a discredited and long-denied accusation against former President Bill Clinton.
The case that we made, in part, was, look, everyone who works at Facebook probably comes out of a similar culture and shares the same set of political presuppositions. Is that a problem itself? Is it an airless room? And they sort of acknowledge that, yeah, maybe that's a problem.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Team nicknames and transgender bathrooms. What do they have in common?
Both could be politically incorrect.
No, well, sort of. It's kind of in the right street, wrong address. But
Thanks.
Yeah.
Right county, maybe.
The neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is, it's not bad. It's a nice neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
They represent the quote-unquote Selma envy, as Hans Fein wrote about in The Federalist. The Selma envy progressive activists suffer from, where since they weren't involved in the actual civil rights movement to right an actual wrong, which is Jim Crow and institutional racism, since they missed that and they have no meaning in their lives, apparently, without it, they manufacture apocryphal or phony ersatz civil rights matters to get themselves whooped up about and to try and get the American public whipped up about so that they can remake America in their kind of, Fabian socialist utopian vision. Team nicknames. Washington Post poll. Remember all of the controversy regarding team nicknames and all the team nicknames that have been changed, right?
I'm still hurting over Chief Alinowick.
Well,
and games, I'm telling you, I went to a fall football game and people go, Chief, and then it starts spreading, and they're still outraged that they took that away from us.
Well, and it's particularly nicknames, not exclusive, but particularly nicknames that relate to Native Americans. That's right. Washington Post poll that was taken over the course of 4 months, random sample of 504 Native American adults nationally. The question, the professional football team in Washington calls itself the Washington Redskins. As a Native American, do you find that name offensive or does it bother you?
Oh, I can't wait to hear the results.
What do you think the results are?
I think that it bothers maybe 1% of the people surveyed.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because most people would suggest, a lot of people must be bothered. I've seen the 4 people that protest outside Redskins games that are interviewed obsessively by ESPN and
I know,
and the legacy media as well.
It's their life mission, those protesters. It's 2 people.
This Washington Post, not exactly a right-wing outlet, just ask Donald Trump. It's just a survey that was done. As a Native American, do you find the Washington Redskins name offensive? Does it bother you? 90% does not bother. Does not bother.
Really?
90% does not bother.
Well, let's just change the way we do business.
So Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins, deserves some credit, not only for standing up to the politically correct zeitgeist of the day, but also for kind of knowing his audience, including apparently Native Americans, better than the Washington Press Corps, although they pretend to speak for them with no hesitation. 90% does not bother, 9% find it offensive. Fewer than 1 in 10 Native Americans find the nickname offensive. And, of course, it's not offensive. These nicknames are not offensive because, they're meant to honor the designated party, right? You don't term yourself something that is intended to ridicule yourself, so much less the group or the person that you're terming yourself after. So I don't know why this is so complicated, but this goes again to the idea, very much like politicians, leftists. I've got an anecdote to tell you. I've got a cause to tell you about. That's a story of sorts, and I'll give you a little tip, a little preview. In the end of the story, I turn out to be the hero all the time. And that's what this is. That's what it is.
Championing the rights of the unspoken. unrepresented.
That's what it is with nicknames, and that's the same thing with in part at least, with the whole gender bending bathroom decree from the regime. And by the way, states are rebelling against this. 100 state legislators in the state of Pennsylvania have expressed outrage in a letter to the president asking him to rescind the order that he issued immediately. Pennsylvania, Texas, Arizona, Georgia, all pushing back. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, no relation to the sportscaster Dan Patrick. We are going to look at every pathway to resist the federal government. At the end of the day, I believe first we can get the administration to back off. That's the Lieutenant Governor of Texas speaking on topic. And there is just a repudiation of what the Obama administration and the progressive left is trying to foist on the American public. And we're going to have more and more of these instances. We've profiled a couple. Here's another one. D.C. police arrested a security guard at a Giant grocery store, Giant's the brand, with simple assault after the security guard forced a transgender woman out of the women's restroom. Here's what happened.
She opened the door and came in and started calling me derogatory names. You guys cannot keep coming in here using our women's restroom. They did not pass the law yet.
Apparently, guy is a derogatory name.
She grabbed me and pushed me out of the store. Little did she know I have Parkinson's disease and I struggle with walking. I almost tripped and fell and busted my head when she shoved me out the door.
Okay, well, get a hold of yourself. And
did you catch that? This is a man pretending to be a woman in the women's restroom at the grocery store. Regarding the security guard. The security guard, she entered and told me to leave. She grabbed me and, pushed me out the door, allegedly. The security guard, after the bathroom confrontation, was arrested by D.C. police. The security guard was arrested by D.C. police. Now,
really?
I'm not saying you should.
So they're not defending her at all. They arrested the security guard?
Yeah. And I'm not saying you should put your hands on anyone if that indeed is what happened. But I just find it interesting. A man pretending to be a woman in the women's bathroom is told to leave by a female security guard, and the female security guard's the bad guy.
He gets arrested.
I mean,
what world are we living in?
Can anything be more upside down?
Well, what also is pretty scary for us living in Chicago, that Mayor Emanuel proposed a transgender restroom ordinance. And reporters asked him on Wednesday, so is there a problem? And he said, can I say it's a problem? I don't know that individually. I do know that the Commission on Human Rights for the city, the person in charge, said that it's been a request of the transgender community to make the changes reflect our values and make sure there's no discrimination in the city of Chicago. So that means Chicago hotels,
Chicago values.
Yeah. Doesn't this sound like a little Chick-fil-A revisited? Chicago hotels, restaurants, grocery stores would not be allowed to require patrons to prove their gender in order to use the restroom.
Chicago values.
And there you said again, our values. Our values. Don't speak about my values. You do not know me, and I'm sick of him telling me how I should think and feel.
You don't know me.
You don't know me. Woo!
Our values. Interesting. So for all of you cowardly Republicans, and for those who think that values have nothing to do with political culture, have nothing to do with discussions of how society should be ordered, how about that? Values. And oh, by the way, for those of you who content yourself with the old saw about I believe something personally, but I don't want to impose my morality on anyone else. You've got an instance of this. Listen to what they say. And they're right, by the way. It is a reflection of their values. It is an imposition of their values or their will, just like every rule or law is. It is a reflection of someone's values. It is a reflection of someone's ethos. So for those who think I can personally be something, but I certainly would never want to see that reflected in public policy. I mean, within reason. I'm not talking about establishing a state religion or anything like this. But you think you can kind of rationalize your lack of participation that way. The other side doesn't think so.
Well,
I don't think so at all.
Mayor Emanuel, he wants to, this is a hot national political issue right now, and he wants to err on the right side of it.
Oh, no,
what
no,
he
no,
said.
no, no, no.
That's
no.
what, yeah.
This
And he's
is-
trying
no,
to
no,
lure
no,
business
no,
from
no.
North Carolina.
No.
And he's just trying to get in the limelight.
This is an erring on the right side because this is like the Washington Redskins, 90%. Here's what happens because we retreat, so many of us. They can turn a issue that is 80-20, 90-10 against them into a 50-50 issue and make their opponents believe that they are the 10 or 20%. This is the Alinsky tactic to make the majority believe their opinions are the minority. And because we have leadership that is so weak, generally speaking, on these issues, and this again explains the rise of Trump projecting strength, whether you like certain manifestations of projection or not, that's what's happening. They can make an entire election like they did in 2012 about a phony issue like contraception. And they can make an entire election about the civil right of a man to use the ladies' bathroom. I mean, this is how absurd it is. And by the way, Target, they're continuing their assault on America. This has nothing to do with transgender. Listen to this story. Hopefully, Target will continue to lose market share and see its stock price tumble. Yeah.
Business is down at Target.
In 2013, Allison Meadows was stabbed at a Target store in East Liberty, Pennsylvania. Surveillance footage shows that a man named Leon Walls grabbed Miss Meadows, grabbed Meadows' father, and attacked her with a knife. A group of men came to stop Walls, who was attacking Meadows and her father. One of those men was Michael Turner, who's now being sued by Target.
For helping her? Wait, why? How? For what?
Mr. Meadows said, I thank him every time I see him, referring to Michael Turner. While Meadows thanks Turner, Target blames him. Court documents say the company claims Turner chased Walls, this was the assailant, with a baseball bat into the entrance of the store, creating more danger to those inside. He goes to trial on Monday. So, I mean, we talk about the Good Samaritans or the lack thereof, and like the case of the kid at
the girl on the blue line?
No, Marquise Gaines.
Marquise Gaines, yeah.
The girl on the blue line too, both of them.
Both of
where and you see cases like Target suing a Good Samaritan. It's just incredible. But those are our values.
Team name in violation of standards of political correctness. Players in no way affiliated with Native Americans.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today we are going to have sunny skies, a few high clouds, but pleasant, a high of 69 degrees. And your weekend looks spectacular. It's going to get warmer. It's Saturday. It's going to be mostly sunny skies, a high of 71 degrees. And on Sunday, a little bit warmer, pleasant, sunshine, a high of 75. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
We're getting higher, Amy and Dan. Eden's inbound, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedy, 24 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower, Blaze Wolf to First, 46 minutes. Thordale to the post office, outbound 32. The Stevenson, 52 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 36 from the Tri-State. Outbound, it's fine. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57. 30 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop Ford, 40. Delays start at Dalton Avenue. There's a crash past 111th on the right shoulder. Eastbound Adams Tollway sluggish now. Roselle to 53, and it's stop and go from the Tri-State to the River Road toll. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Attention firearm enthusiasts. You've heard me talk about Schrank Smoke and Guns, family atmosphere, and how they carry the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County. They have over 700 guns in stock to see and handle, as well as a huge supply of range ammo, including the elusive .22 LR. You'll find pistols, rifles, shotguns, and hard-to-find calibers, collectibles, and older functioning hunting rifles. Schrank's has full gunsmith services from simple detail cleaning to complete rebuilds. So whether you're thinking about your first firearm, an FOID card, or looking to add to your collection, Just visit Schrank's Smoke and Gun. If you have a firearm to sell, Schrank's needs your firearms. And if you love cigars like Dan Proft does, you'll find your favorites in Schrank's humidors along with a broad selection of pipes and tobacco. So visit smoke, the letter N, gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrank's Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. That's 847-662-4034.
Boom! Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services. Offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Guys, if you've been using or wanting to try Viagra but are worried about the costs, we have great news. Now you can finally get real results at huge discounts with our Healthy Man alternative to the little blue pill. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get results for a fraction of the price? Call today and get 40 pills for only $99. Others cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want real results at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill for Viagra when you can get real results for less than $3 per pill. Call 800-375-1270 today and save over $500. You can have those breathtaking, toe-curling moments again and again. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Call right now and we'll rush you your supply delivered discreetly to your door. Just call 800-375-1270. That's 800-375-1270. Again, 800-375-1270.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about how the left creates fake civil rights movements to project themselves in the role of the hero, from team nicknames to transgender bathrooms. Let's go to Kent and Joliet. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. You know what? You summed it up almost perfectly, Dan. It's a divide and conquer strategy. The Democrats basically create, straw issues that don't exist, and then the Republicans have no idea what to do. And that's why, like it or not, you mischaracterized, in my opinion, and I could be wrong about this, but when you said that Donald Trump said, Donald Trump just said leave it like it was. That's all he said with, North Carolina. I guarantee you he doesn't agree with them passing a law, the federal government that is saying that, transgender is the federal law at this point.
Well,
he's the only person.
Yeah, but I mean, he may not agree with the federal law, but he said Caitlyn Jenner can use any bathroom he wants to use.
And he said it's up to the states.
Right, but that's not exactly speaking with moral clarity on the issue.
No,
well,
it's a wishy-washy answer.
The bottom line is this, and this is an important point. I'd like to make it.
Okay.
I believe that Donald Trump is the only person, Dan, that can win for the Republicans, because the Republicans are so weak, they don't know how to fight this stuff. The Democrats are so good at it, if we want Hillary Clinton in there that basically laughed as she got a child rapist off back in Arkansas, and that's on tape, and I'm sure you've heard it.
Mm-hmm.
They're bad people.
Yeah.
And, I don't know that Donald Trump is or isn't, but I'll take my chance.
All right, thanks, Ken. By the way, which bathroom did Hillary Clinton use at the Pickwick Theater in Park Ridge?
She did use the woman's washroom. Yes. Sorry, Dan.
I lost that bet. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. Before the city starts pointing fingers and assigning blame, maybe they should look in the mirror. They built a gay lesbian center at Waveland and Halstead.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then they took the old police station and made it another center because the bisexuals and the transgenders were being discriminated against by the gays and the lesbians.
I thought it was a gay retirement center.
Thanks for the call, Mike. And by the way,
which is fine. I mean, they have a legal right. They purchased that building. It was the old town hall.
Just as a point of order, yeah, well, of course, they have freedom of association. Other people don't. Just a point of order, the city does not point fingers. It points half fingers.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
World, say hello to my 9 little friends. Remember us? We used to spend a lot of time with you, but that was before I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? But what was a big toe like me supposed to do, eh? We tried doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery, but with that I could lose my nail, and there's still no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. Then I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. Clear Touch is painless because it uses light, light, to travel fast and deep. All that time in hiding and this simple solution was right there at Clear Touch? Well, Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. So if you're hiding your little friends, get Clear Touch. Now listen to the man.
Call 800-278-7144. That's 800-278-7144. That's 800-278-7144 or cleartouchnails.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
In the bay window, it's so embarrassing.
Sure.
Okay. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We've got Dr. Waleed Phares, Fox News Middle East expert, as well as Trump campaign advisor, to talk about who may be the responsible party for downing that Egypt Air flight. That's at 6:36.
And switching gears, wait until you hear why a well-endowed woman was kicked out of a gym. We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 47 degrees. Egypt Air's president expressing sadness and regret over the deaths of 66 on board the Egypt Air Flight 804 that plunged into the Mediterranean early yesterday. The latest on the discovery of debris this morning with Fox's Benjamin Hall.
The consensus very much there is that terror was responsible for this crash, not technical failure. But we've had no claim of responsibility from any terror groups yet, and still conflicting reports about whether or not an explosion was found by U.S. infrared satellites in the area at the time. Meanwhile, though, the search continues in a vast area south of the island of Crete. Debris being found, which they say was belonging to the aircraft, and also passengers' belongings. It does seem now as if the plane definitely went down. A lot of questions unanswered, a big mystery, a big tragedy.
Egyptian army found the plane's wreckage and personal belongings about 180 miles north of Alexandria, Egypt. Lawyers say the leading suspect in the Paris terror attacks had nothing to say when he appeared before investigators and judges, so the session for Salah Abdul Salam ended quickly today. Nigeria's military says it has rescued a second of the 218 Chibok girls still missing following a mass abduction from their school by Boko Haram terrorists in 2014. Oklahoma moving to make it a felony for doctors to perform abortions. The state Senate has passed a bill making performing an abortion punishable by up to 3 years in prison. It now goes to Governor Mary Fallin. She has not indicated whether she will sign it into law. Jury selection set to begin in the murder-for-hire trial of 62-year-old Drew Peterson. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert has been ordered to report to prison on June 22nd. And a suspect in the killing of a Chicago teen is on the FBI's most wanted list. Luis Machado was charged in 2009 in the murder of Alex Arellano. And there's a little trouble north of the border this morning where the League of United Latin American Citizens is calling for a federal investigation into a Milwaukee business. Hispanic customers who frequent Leon's Frozen Custard are upset that the restaurant's owner will not allow employees to speak to customers in any language other than English. They call it discrimination, while owner Ron Schneider says it's about speeding up service. Schneider denies being a racist, noting that his wife and children are Hispanic. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 5-3. Houston fell to the White Sox and Chris Sale 2-1. The news service of TimeshareExitTeam.com. Get out now safely and legitimately at TimeshareExitTeam.com. Even though you think you're trapped in your timeshare contract, they will get you out or get you a full refund. 844-321-EXIT. 844-321-EXIT. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager wants to know, where the money will come from.
Do people not understand, and this is not a rhetorical question, do people who vote for Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders not understand that all of these programs cost money? That's what they believe. There's an inexhaustible, because the rich are so rich, and they'll just get more money from them.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
You know, I've always been afraid we don't get enough, and that's why I feel so secure in taking Balance of Nature. But as long as I can get those fruits and vegetables, that's what, to me, is very important.
Well, you know, I heard all the advertisements on the radios where I first heard about this, and of course, I thought, well, you know, I need to order that because I don't get my fruits and vegetables like I should. I eat some, but not all. So I started taking the product, and I've taken it religiously now for, I guess, 3 months, going on 3 months now, and I told my wife I can definitely tell a difference. So it's a good product.
Make the change today. No more synthetics, no more extracts. Today is your chance to get it right. Accept and complete Dr. Howard's 120-day health challenge to earn a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
6:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In about Aiden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 19. The Kennedy 26 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 23. The Eisenhower jamming up starting around St. Charles 55 minutes. Thorndale to downtown 35 from Manheim. Outbound 33 to Thorndale. Stevenson really jammed. First Avenue to Kedzie and from the Ryan to Lakeshore Drive. An hour and 5 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 39 minutes. Ryan 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 30 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 40. Eastbound Adams Tollway. Stop and go from the Tri-State to the River Road Toll. Traffic is a service of Burger King's Breakfast. Right now at Burger King, get an awesome deal on breakfast. 2 croissant breakfast sandwiches for just $4. Piled high with thick-cut bacon or savory sausage, fluffy eggs, and melted cheese. That's 2 croissant for $4. Only at Burger King. Limited time only. Price and participation vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Clouds and sun today, high 69, partly cloudy 49 tomorrow. More sun than clouds tomorrow with a high of 71. 47 at O'Hare, 52 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so who is responsible for downing that Egypt Air flight? And how exactly did it happen? There's a lot of conjecture, and that's really where the phase we're still in here. We don't know, but you've got intelligence officials in France, in Egypt, in the United States, all suggesting that it's more likely than not that it was a terrorist attack, that it's more likely than not that it was an explosion on the flight, and that explains why the pilot was incommunicado with air traffic, and it also explains the 90-degree left, 360 right death spiral.
And then from 37,000 feet down to 10,000 feet in a matter of seconds.
And debris recovered yesterday.
Or this morning.
Or this morning, okay.
Because the first reports of debris did not come to fruition, but the Egyptian army officials came forward and said they found parts of the fuselage and then parts of the passengers' luggage.
Some are suggesting this has the fingerprints of the Muslim Brotherhood, also suggesting that even though the focus has been on, in part, airport workers at Charles de Gaulle and Paris, that perhaps Cairo is more likely and more appropriate, the more likely and more appropriate focus, because the flight was only on the ground in Paris for an hour. So perhaps it was Cairo where, if everything people believe is more likely than not occurred, that's where it came together. For more on this and insight, we're now happy to be joined by our friend Dr. Walid Phares. He's Fox News Channel national security and Middle Eastern expert. He's also a advisor to the Donald Trump campaign. Dr. Phares, thanks so much for joining us again. We appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
So what is your assessment of the intelligence conjecture that has come out so far, and anything you think in terms of the possibility for the responsible party here?
Well, we're about 24 hours or maybe more from the incident, from the potential, as most parties are calling it, potential terror act. We have a consensus among Russian intelligence, Egyptian intelligence, French authorities in a partial way. The U.S. is still waiting, but unofficial sources also are going in that direction, that there was a sort of an explosion. The explosion is internal, so the flash was not seen very well from the outside, and the pilot tried to control the plane, and therefore that the flight was doomed. Now, who is responsible? Egypt is in a state of war. So it's not that we have to do a lot of research here. So it must be a jihadi party. What jihadi party? That we don't know. Should it be Al-Qaeda or ISIS, or, as you just mentioned in the introduction, the possibility of Muslim Brotherhood? Because these three parties are confronting the Egyptian government, are engaged in action in Egypt. Whatever is the case, the third question, as you also introduced, is about how did this network or these individuals or whomever is the perpetrator penetrate that plane? Was it in Paris? You just mentioned, the plane was there for just an hour, or did it originate in any of the other countries where the plane, took off or landed? This is to be seen.
So this is their third aviation disaster in less than a year. I'm talking about Egypt Air. They haven't been so transparent the last few incidents. I mean, they finally, after a year, came forward and said, yes, ISIS bombed our last aircraft. Do you think they'll be more transparent this time?
They have to, because if they don't, then they're going to be questioned by the inside. First of all, within the government itself, and also among the population. They have a very robust media as well, and I have been watching Egyptian TV. There's a lot of emotion. The parents, the relatives, the friends of the people lost. I think I had 16 Egyptians. And it's not just the relatives. It's actually the Egyptian people very nervous about the fact that this is probably the second major, event that is threatening tourism, that is threatening the economy, and threatening, frankly, the security of every Egyptian. But to me, it seems clear that Egypt is targeted by the jihadists, by ISIS, and potentially on the inside by the Muslim Brotherhood. They want to weaken its economy, and Egypt's major economy, at least the tourist part of it, could really create a crisis in the country.
Yeah, and I mean, just to pick up on that point, since the plane that was downed by ISIS last year, Sharm el-Sheikh, which was a popular tourist destination, as I understand it, is kind of a ghost town, and obviously what happened in the last 24 hours isn't going to help that any.
It's not. I mean, this is a response to the Egyptian revolution against the Muslim Brotherhood. If you want to go back and look at the whole perspective, the Brotherhood took over in 2012. They started to, as they call it, Islamize the country, influence the army, the judges, the journalists, suppressing their opposition, going after the cops. And then there was this revolution. The revolution was backed by Sisi, and Mr. Morsi was removed from power. In retaliation, Egypt has been targeted since 2013 by a lot of terrorism. I mean, these are very highly seen actions, but on the ground in Egypt every day almost, in the Sinai Peninsula, other parts of Egypt, you have attacks on Egyptians by jihadists and by Brotherhood elements as well.
If Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS, any of these jihadist groups were responsible, why haven't they come forward yet and claimed responsibility?
You know, every time it happens, should it be in Egypt or in the region, we had the same question, why didn't, until they do. So it's really in their hands. With only 24 hours, they waited 2-3 days. In some cases, they put up a video. We really don't know. It's in the hands of those who have organized it, if they want to or not. And there are discussions, of course, among themselves, and they time it the way they want. It's very rarely that ISIS would declare that they are responsible immediately. Probably one of the reasons, this is just a theory, that those who have perpetrated are not directly linked. So this is a cell that is autonomous that may have perpetrated this, and then it takes time for the leadership to assume responsibility.
Given if it proves out that this was another terrorist attack like the Egypt air flight that was down last year, does this say anything larger globally about jihadi groups focusing on taking down planes as an important component part of their terrorist campaigns?
Absolutely. There's one matter about geopolitics and another about the tool, the weapon that was used. The geopolitics is that the intelligence behind this action, it's not a random action. They're targeting Egypt not just to weaken Egypt, but to put Egypt away from a coalition that was building in the region. We know that the Saudis, the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, were trying to pull in Egypt to form a multinational Arab force to intervene against ISIS in Iraq and in Syria and Sunni areas. That was basically the boots on the ground that a future administration would have wanted to ally themselves with it. It's like a preemptive strike. Let's take Egypt out of the equation, and therefore the next administration won't have really a lot of legs and boots on the ground, and we go back to square one. Very smart strategy. With regard to the tools, this is sending a very strong message, and actually, I may say for the first time, scary message around the world. If that worked for an Egyptian airliner, it could work for any airliner and any international airport around the world, including in the United States and in Europe.
And of the 66 people who died or presumed dead, 3 were children and 7 were the equivalent of our air marshals. And if it indeed was a bomb brought on board, clearly it's not working.
Well, the air marshal basically are there, it's a good idea, against attempts by individuals who are armed want to take over the plane. But air marshals versus a bomb, there's not much you can do. So the issue of how to stop the bomb basically is before the plane takes off, the search, the thorough search, what are the technologies that allow authorities, not just Egyptians, but French in this case, and Europeans or Africans or in this case American, what technology do we have to ensure that no explosives are on the plane and not to be detonated? This is really the biggest concern that international authorities have right now.
And personnel checks in terms of airport workers and people that have access to the planes.
Well, the Western Europeans have that as a major problem. We know that over the past months, French and Belgian authorities have removed the clearances, security clearances, and access codes for many workers. We're talking about dozens and dozens in Paris and Brussels. In more discreet ways in other airports in Europe, it is happening. So now governments, and that's really since the last attacks in Brussels and in Paris before that. Now the Europeans are moving to clean or vet or screen anybody who can approach a plane. And we have been calling on this for the last 11 years, actually.
Yeah.
I think there is now a tendency here in the United States to do the same.
He is Dr. Walid Phares. He's Fox News Middle East expert, counterterrorism expert. He's also a Trump campaign advisor. Dr. Phares, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine right now to start your Friday, to begin your weekend, so to speak. And we'll have a high of 69 degrees. Then your weekend looks pretty good. On Saturday, partly cloudy skies, a high of 71. And on Sunday, mostly sunny, pleasant, a high of 75. And next week, we'll have a string of days in the 80s, so that's good news. Anything good on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, the Edens isn't too bad right now. It's 22 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19, but the Kennedy getting heavier. 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower's rough, 55 minutes already. Thorndale to downtown, 35 from Manheim, outbound 34 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson jammed, First Avenue to Kedzie, and Ashland to King Drive after a crash. They're cleared. An hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes. I-80 to the Archbishop Ford, 40. There was a crash at 111th Street. Northbound Tri-State delays from the Reagan Solway to North Avenue and Duffy to 22, where the right lane is closed for the car fire. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
69, dudes!
I'm Lou Dobbs. Uber is testing a self-driving car in Pittsburgh, and it may be a good summer for tourism. Those stories next.
Attention, all timeshare owners. Were you a victim of a high-pressure or dishonest timeshare sales agent? Were you confused with what you were buying or didn't provide what you were promised? Do you feel that you overpaid for your timeshare, can't afford it, or do you simply not use it anymore and just want out? If you answered yes to any of these questions, we can help. We're Timeshare Compliance, and every day we help hundreds of timeshare victims protect their rights. Our team can legally terminate your timeshare agreement, ending the payments forever, saving you thousands. In some cases, we can even get you a refund of the fees you previously paid. But you must act now. Call 800-811-7670 or visit timesharecompliance.com for a free consultation. We can help you save thousands, but only if you call 800-811-7670 or visit timesharecompliance.com for an absolutely free consultation. That's 800-811-7670 or timesharecompliance.com.
Uber is kicking the tires on self-driving cars in Pittsburgh. The ride-hailing company testing self-driving capabilities and the collection of map data on public streets in the Steel City. Summer could be kind to the tourism industry. Initial data for the Memorial Day weekend signaling a strong start. AAA predicting 38 million people will be traveling for the holiday, the most since 2005. Long-term mortgage interest rates remain at or near lows for the year. Freddie Mac says the average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage edged up to 3.58% this week. A year ago, it was 3.84%. The average rate on 15-year fixed-rate mortgages remained unchanged. Not much in the way of government reports today, but investors will have the latest data on existing home sales. Investors will be watching closely. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
We're so excited about our sold-out golf outing at the Bolingbrook Golf Club coming up on Thursday, June 16th to benefit Operation Support Our Troops America.
If you weren't able to get in this year, don't worry. You can still reserve a tee time at the Bolingbrook Golf Club anytime this spring or summer by visiting BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
And thanks to the sponsors who are making our golf outing possible.
Remax Professionals, Charity Golf International, Dr. Amy and Associates, MJ Miller and Company Jewelers in Barrington, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and Pearl Mortgage.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool?
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
How would you like to make up to $20,000 a month flipping houses with no risk? Hi, my name is Nick Vertucci, and over the last 2 years, my elite team of house flippers have flipped over 800 properties by using my 3-step flipping system that guarantees quick profits. And this year, we plan to double it. I'm growing my team in your area, and I'm looking for help. I have more cash available than deals right now, so I need you. All interested candidates, call now and take an inside peek of my flipping system. I'll rush you out out a free copy of my Fortunes and Flipping CD kit that will show you how easy it is to get in, get out, and get paid immediately flipping houses if you come join my team.
Call 1-800-795-5531 now to get your free flipping kit. Call 800-795-5531, and you'll also get free tickets to a training workshop that includes a free meal, a smartphone watch, and USB flash drive loaded with Nick's powerful information as free gifts just for attending. Call 800-795-5531. That's 800-795-5531. Call now.
AM 560, The Answer.
So conservatives, select group of conservatives met with Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg Wednesday. The Winklevoss twins not available.
I thought for sure you'd be invited to that meeting.
No. I don't rise to that level of a Brent Bozell, president of the Media Research Center.
Did he change his mind?
He had good things to say. He said, Brent Bozell, I think Facebook understands there's a problem, and I think that from the very top, there's a genuine desire to resolve it. There were good exchanges. Overall, it was cordial. Tucker Carlson was on with Megyn Kelly. So, Tucker Carlson with the floppy hair.
And the bow tie.
He runs the Daily Caller. And he had this to say. This was a little bit more textured response from Carlson.
I'm persuaded they're worried. I mean, I run a business that's highly reliant on Facebook, as anybody who does online news is. And so I understand the power. I mean, look, they're far more powerful as a disseminator of news than Hearst or any of the newspaper barons of the earliest 20th century ever was. They're the most powerful ever. They're self-aware enough to know that. They're self-aware enough to know they have a huge problem with conservatives who don't trust them. Secrecy is at the heart of what they do. The algorithm is obviously proprietary. You don't know what's in it. And so you have to trust them in order to play along with them. So, yeah, I mean, they get that they need to do a lot of work to persuade conservatives. The case that we made, in part, was, look, everyone who works at Facebook probably comes out of a similar culture and shares the same set of political presuppositions. Is that a problem itself? Is it an airless room? And they sort of acknowledge that, yeah, maybe that's a problem.
Yeah, maybe it is a problem.
Did they apologize, though?
Apology. There's, this
politicizing the news,
rolling investigation going on. They haven't admitted to doing that, by the way. They still deny that there's an investigation. But I don't think I'm going to trust a bunch of Hillary Clinton max out donors.
Nerds! You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure a reverse mortgage, give me a call. Hal called Chicago's hometown bank. You know, the one that counts your change for free for a reverse mortgage. Hal thought Chicago's hometown bank's closing costs were excessive, so he called for a free consultation. I reviewed Hal's loan documents and confirmed that Chicago's hometown bank was charging him over $9,500 in closing costs, which is ridiculous. I helped Hal secure a reverse mortgage and paid for all of his closing costs. Now I know how Chicago's hometown bank pays for all those change counting machines. If you're in the market for a reverse mortgage and want to be treated with respect like Hal, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Looking for a midweek night out? Well, this coming Wednesday, May 25th, kick off your Memorial Day weekend a couple of days early by heading over to the Arcada Theater in downtown St. Charles for the one night only, absolutely live Night Sphere Grand Finale. Now, the Chicagoland music scene is alive and well, and the Night Sphere Grand Finale showcases the brightest and best Chicagoland discoveries like Mr. Blotto.
Did you find out how Mr. Blotto got its name?
Yeah, they went to a concert once, and they were Mr. Happy, Mr. Hungry, and Mr. Blotto. And it stuck, so that's the band name. And I know Mr. Blotto, you've seen or heard of him, or you've been to one of their shows, so you'll get to hear the host band, also Thaddeus Project, who just won a huge national award.
Did you find out how the Thaddeus Project got their name?
Did not, but I know Ted's in charge. Plus, many other bands will be there, so head over to the Arcada Theater Wednesday night.
Did you find out how the Arcada Theater got its name?
No, but it's not spelled. It's not pronounced the way it's spelled. Arcada Theater, Wednesday night, May 25th. You can groove to live music. The Night Sphere Grand Finale. For tickets and information, visit oshows.com. That's the letter O. oshows.com. VIP upgrades, Dan, are still available, and it's presented by Northern Resource and North Point Financial Group. Insure, preserve, and protect. It is a T-10 partners and Thaddeus Project production. That's oshows.com. oshows.com. Don't miss it. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hillary Clinton was in Park Ridge. Will she carry Park Ridge? We'll ask Brett Baer, host of Fox News Special Report at 7:07.
And then later, why a woman got kicked out of a gym, and could Dan beat a 100-year-old lady in the 100-yard dash? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching at this hour. Fox with the latest on the discovery of a debris field in the Egypt airline crash. Jury selection set to get underway in the murder-for-hire trial of 62-year-old Drew Peterson, charged with soliciting a fellow inmate to find someone he could pay to kill. Will County State's Attorney James Glasgow. Person struck by a freight train in DuPage County. That investigation continues. And Chris Sale now 9-0 for the White Sox. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's a grim sight at sea as searchers find wreckage but no sign of life the day after an Egypt airplane crashed flying from Paris to Cairo with 66 people on board. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, a body part, 2 seats, and suitcases have been located off the coast of Alexandria by Egyptian authorities, according to Greece's defense minister. Cairo's military saying the debris and personal artifacts come from Egypt Air Flight 804. Greece's defense minister also reiterating data shows the aircraft made sharp turns and plunged, but says analysis of the plane's trajectory needs to be handled by experts. This is Cairo's top investigator says Britain and France will help Egypt comb through the debris in an attempt to ascertain what brought the jet down shortly after entering Egypt's airspace. Dave.
Jessica, were terrorists responsible?
So far, at least, we have no claim of responsibility or evidence that this was an intentional act.
That's FBI Director James Comey. Hillary Clinton says it appears to be terror. Donald Trump says for sure it was blown out of the sky. As the two presidential rivals once again snipe at each other, Fox's Tanya J. Powers has this live.
Well, Dave, this time they're taking swipes at each other over whether they're fit to sit in the Oval Office. Donald Trump took a turn this morning on Fox and Friends.
She is so ill-equipped to be the president.
Now, that was a swipe over yesterday's CNN interview with Hillary Clinton where she accused him of the same thing.
Do you think that Donald Trump is qualified to be president?
No, I do not. While Trump is the presumptive GOP nominee, Clinton is still 90 delegates short of clinching the nomination, even though Bernie Sanders says he's still in it, Dave.
Tanya, San Francisco's police chief is out after Mayor Ed Lee demanded his resignation following the third deadly police shooting in 5 months.
The progress that we've made has been meaningful, but it hasn't been fast enough.
Greg Sir stepped down hours after a black woman was shot after crashing a stolen car. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun this morning. We have 47 degrees in Chicago, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police investigating after a 16-year-old boy was shot to death on the south side. DeMarcus Williams was found dead yesterday near 61st and Evans with a gunshot wound to his head. State police say a person was shot on the Dan Ryan Expressway. A man wounded last night while driving between 87th and 95th. Lanes were shut down while authorities investigated. Jury selection set to begin in the murder-for-hire trial of a former suburban police officer accused of plotting to kill the Will County prosecutor who put him behind bars. 62-year-old Drew Peterson was convicted, you may recall, in 2012 of first-degree murder. Kathleen Savio's death 8 years earlier initially was ruled an accident. Authorities say one of 2 suspects in the slayings of 6 family members whose bodies were found in a Chicago home in February was related to the family, and the motive was robbery. Police announced charges Thursday against 22-year-old Diego Uribe and his girlfriend. Chief Eugene Roy explains what led to the arrest of Uribe.
The break in the case came yesterday when detectives learned that DNA evidence recovered at the scene linked Diego Uribe to the scene. Additionally, cell phone records also link Uribe to the scene.
Authorities found the bodies February 4th in a Gage Park neighborhood home. A Kane County worker is dead after he was struck by a pickup filling potholes. The accident happened yesterday morning on Harder Road in Blackberry Township. Authorities say the man was killed when a truck ran into him and a DOT vehicle. No charges have been filed, but the investigation continues today. And Illinois lawmakers are moving forward with an automatic voter registration bill. Senate Democrats approved legislation that would automatically register eligible voters in the state when they receive or renew a driver's license or a state ID. Governor Rauner has not yet said if he's backing the measure. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 5-3. Jason Hammel the loss. White Sox top Houston 2-1. Chris Sale the distance on a masterful four-hitter. He's now 9-0. The news service of TimeshareExitTeam.com. Do you feel like you're trapped in your timeshare contract? Well, get out now safely and legitimately at TimeshareExitTeam.com. They'll get you out or get you a full refund. 844-321-EXIT. 844-321-EXIT. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, the security officers at your business are an extension of your business. Because they are, you got to have the best. Often the first person your customer meets is your security officer, so they need to be professional, friendly, and courteous. Hey, if you're having issues with your security provider, don't tolerate it. Man, call Guardian Security Services. They're friends of mine. They're at the top of their game, setting the bar for customer service for the past 41 years in Chicago. Easy to reach if you have questions. They pride themselves on a client retention ratio greater than 95% and the best training and vetting practices in the industry. Hey, if you're unhappy with your on-site security officer or doorman, hey, call Guardian Security Services. Get a free consultation and tell them Joe Walsh sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. That's 708-385-3300 or online at GuardianSecurityInc.com.
World, say hello to some old friends. It's been a long time, but they remember you. They're my toes, and they've been hidden ever since I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? Really ugly stuff that I just couldn't get rid of. Tried several doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery. Of course, with that, you lose your nail, and there's no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. So I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. It's painless because it uses light. Yes, light to travel fast and deep. I can't believe I went so long hiding my toes when this simple, inexpensive solution was waiting right there at Clear Touch. Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. Yeah, my toes saw the light. So, world, I'd appreciate it if you could pass the word about Clear Touch, the phototherapy solution that works. Call 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573 or cleartouchnails.com.
Not available in all states. Introducing the most exciting new franchise opportunity in years. Reese and Irvy's world's first frozen yogurt vending robot. The revolutionary high-tech, first-of-its-kind approach to frozen yogurt franchising. These robots are a huge hit in malls, movie theaters, supermarkets, practically anywhere. If you're looking to start your own franchise and be the first in your market to unveil this exciting high-profit kiosk, find out how we can help you secure premium locations. Locations are going fast, so act now. Just go to froyofranchising.com. That's froyofranchising.com.
It's the Ready to Ride sales event and time to gear up for your ultimate adventure. Enjoy summertime fun on a Can-Am ATV, side-by-side, Can-Am Spyder, or Sea-Doo watercraft. Hurry in by May 31st and save up to $2,500 on select 2015 models. Plus, get great financing. Get ready to ride because the fun starts now.
Visit Dockside Marine in Wilmington.
Subject to credit approval. Restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. For safety and training info, contact the ATV Safety Institute.
7:07 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is heavier now with delays all the way in. 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 20 from Montrose, 15 in the Express, outbound 35 minutes to O'Hare. The Edens is 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 28. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 45 minutes from Manheim, outbound 35 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's 44 minutes. The inbound Ryan looking at 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford still 40. The Lakeshore Drive southbound is heavy around 18th Street. Tri-State southbound, though 60 to 22. Northbound from Deerfield Road to 22. There's a right lane closure with a car fire. You spot Adams Tollway slow from the Tri-State to the River Road Toll. Northbound Veterans Memorial, heavy 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a high of 68 and a partly cloudy night, low 49. Then tomorrow, clouds and sun with a high of 72 and a moonlit sky. Tomorrow night with a low 51. Sunday, a mostly sunny day, high 75 and a clear night with a low of 50. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
It's 49 at O'Hare, 55 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news update, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Artistic Dentistry. Online at artisticdentistry-pc.com. Excellence in the art and science of dentistry.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Do you think that Donald Trump is qualified to be president?
No, I do not.
It's about groping and fondling and touching against a woman's will.
And rape.
And rape.
Donald Trump using that word unprompted, bringing up a discredited and long-denied accusation against former President Bill Clinton.
The case that we made, in part, was, look, everyone who works at Facebook probably comes out of a similar culture and shares the same set of political presuppositions. Is that a problem itself? Is it an airless room? And they sort of acknowledge that, yeah, maybe that's a problem.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the cackler Hillary Clinton in her hometown of Park Ridge.
Yeah.
Hometown girl done good yesterday. And I saw some pictures being tweeted from the Pickwick Theater, from around the Pickwick Theater.
Yeah.
The police there set up a pretty wide perimeter, and I just assumed it was so they could peacefully take her into custody. But that's not what happened.
No, people lined up for hours to see their hometown hero, Hillary Clinton.
It's definitely a connection. Whenever you talk to people, they're pretty proud of the fact that she comes from here.
But not everybody is happy. You still had some Trump supporters out there.
Think she's going to carry Park Ridge?
I don't know. I think it's kind of divided, I believe. So we'll see.
Park Ridge residents are so polite. She's not going to carry Park Ridge. Park Ridge is a Republican town, and even those who vote for her, to use the term hero. Oh my goodness. There it is. There's our girl.
Secretary of State, senator, wife of a president.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Strong.
Do I sound like I'm back on the Hillary bandwagon?
You almost got through that without giggling. And I appreciate the giggle as opposed to the cackle. Oh, boy. I can't hear that enough, really. It's a nice way to kind of ease into the weekend. For more on the presidential race and some other matters happening on the Hill, too, including the IRS and the move to finally impeach the commissioner there, we're now happy to be joined by our friend Bret Baier. He is the host, of course, of Fox News Special Report, 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, Chicago time. Bret, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Good morning.
So I guess start with Trump and Hillary. The recent spate of polls have it basically a dead heat. A couple polls have Trump up 3 to 5 points. One New York Times CBS poll has Hillary up 6 points. But the more interesting thing, as predicted by Charles Krauthammer on your show and others, is the consolidation of support. Trump's favorability or unfavorability rating, maybe is a better way to say it, among Republican voters has dropped by 15 points in the last month. 80% of self-identified Republicans want the party to unify and support Trump because he won fair and square, and we need to focus on the opponent, and that's Hillary. Any surprise there?
No, I think people like a winner, but when you got past Indiana, that's basically what it was. And I think that the reservations that some establishment types and conservatives have about Trump, some of them have gone away. Others kind of linger, but all the talk about a third-party run is kind of evaporated. Bill Kristol still talks about it in his sleep, but I think it's
murmuring to himself. Yes.
He's not. He doesn't have a lot of people buying on that train, and so. When Donald Trump puts out the list of possible Supreme Court nominations, that does coalesce some people who had concerns.
Now, when you think about Donald Trump's VP list, is there anybody that you find attractive or that you think will help elevate his presidency or run for the presidency?
Well, it's not my job to advise him. But I will say, this is what I'm hearing on the Hill, that someone who is steeped in the ability to get legislation across the finish line, someone who is a creature probably of the Senate or the House. A few names that had popped up is Bob Corker from Tennessee, Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina. Let's see. We've obviously been over Rubio. And
Scott, how about Scott Brown?
Scott Brown, I don't think so. John Thune has been mentioned recently.
Amy's heartthrob.
Yeah,
my Republican
the Marlboro
crush.
Man.
Yeah.
What about Newt Gingrich, though? Several people have come
Not
on this
exactly
program.
the same figure.
No. But what about that? It's crazy.
Some people do say that he would be great, and he is obviously a big thinker and has a lot of ideas for potential another Republican administration. Trump has a relationship with him, but I don't sense that he is kind of the focus of the VP choice.
Now, some people have been saying, kind of some inside the Beltway conservative columnist types have been saying, you've got a lot of people that are attractive. Some of the names that you mentioned, including Tim Scott, that would be a really interesting choice. His fellow Republican from South Carolina, the governor, Nikki Haley, Susanna Martinez, others. But the problem Trump has is so few people are actually interested in being his running mate. And so he's down to perhaps less than optimal choices like a Newt Gingrich or a Mike Huckabee. Is that now changing a little bit where someone like a Tim Scott would potentially say yes if asked?
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, reservations are one thing, but when the call comes and says, will you do this for your country? It's a different set of, circumstances. And I think that any one of those people would reconsider when the actual ask happens.
Bret Baier, if you got that call when Donald Trump said, Brett, for your country?
I would say I'm going to cover it really well.
That's how you're going to honor your country. That's fair. That's fair.
All right. Well, shifting gears to the Democratic side, who are you hearing from your sources that would be Hillary Clinton's running mate?
Yeah, I think Senator Tim Kaine from Virginia is one of the tops. Virginia is a swing state. If he can deliver Virginia, it gives Clinton really a big boost as far as the demographics of the states. There have been others out there. There's Julian Castro. I'm not sure he's going to get to that level of the ready to be president crowd. So it's a little bit of an anomaly. I do think that Bernie Sanders might have a factor here, not that he would be the choice, but that he would pull her left, and maybe somebody like a Sherrod Brown from Ohio would qualify.
Any chance of doing a Bernie Sanders proxy as her running mate and doing the Cagney and Lacey routine with Elizabeth Warren?
Slight chance. I mean, I've talked to the Clinton people, and they acknowledge that would be powerful to unify the progressive side of the Democratic Party. Probably unlikely, though. She's weak with white men, and in all of the polls, and she probably needs to deliver a state. So she's probably not going to have a hard time with Massachusetts.
I ask you something else about what's happening on the Hill. It seems like the Republican leadership under Paul Ryan is still kind of groping for an agenda, and speaking specifically about the IRS, kind of a bit of a conservative revolt, but putting Paul Ryan on the dime to say, look, either you hold hearings, give us the green light to hold hearings on the IRS, or we're going to move to impeach IRS Commissioner John Koskinen. And Kim Strassel has a good piece in the Wall Street Journal this morning about federal judges who excoriated the IRS, finding that the things they were accused of 5 years ago, they're still doing. The two groups that were waiting for C4 status are still waiting. They're being harassed by the IRS, according to the report by Strassel. Judges were told that not only are the groups still on ice, but their actions are still being, quote unquote, monitored by the federal government. And one lawyer for the plaintiffs noting that basically the IRS is still targeting people for mistreatment based on their political views, just as they were 5 years ago. And there's a lot of backbenchers in the House that are tired of waiting for to take substantive action against Koskinen, who hasn't done anything to change the culture at IRS.
Yeah, no, I think it's a big story, and it will continue to move forward. I know Jason Chaffetz has been kind of leading the charge there, and that Paul Ryan will probably relent on this. I think that there's plenty of there. It's just a matter of whether they have all the evidence to lay it out in a compelling hearing. And what exactly happens at the end? I mean, all these hearings are one thing, but people get so frustrated because at the end of this back and forth or on a hearing that even gets a lot of attention, what exactly happens? So that's what people want to see.
One other question about another big issue in the news, TSA, and Michelle Malkin writing yesterday that it's not the loss of personnel, kind of understaffing. It's not underfunding. That what has happened recently at major airports throughout the country is a bit of TSA blue flu. It's government shutdown theater redux. It's actually the TSA union trying to flex their muscles for stronger collective bargaining rights. And that's what at least is in part the cause of these ridiculous lines we've seen at the nation's airports.
The Chicago area would be almost like bringing in people outside the union. I mean,
right.
I don't know how that works, but it's a real issue. And when you talk about that and overlay the fact that we are looking at this Egypt Air crash and whether this was a bomb placed in Charles de Gaulle Airport, that's it's a big deal when you start talking about the interaction between DHS, TSA, and those incidents. He
is Bret Baier, the host of Fox News' Special Report, 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, Chicago time. Bret, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Have a good day.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Overcast skies right now, 53 degrees, going up to a high today of 69 degrees. Then your weekend looks like this. It's going to be pretty nice around here. Saturday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 71. And on Sunday, it's just going to be pleasant, a little bit warmer, a high of 75. Let's get the travel times on any pleasantries on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. Not really. It's not too bad on the Edens. 25 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30, but the Kennedy has delays all the way in now from O'Hare. It is 40 minutes from the airport to downtown, outbound 35. The Eisenhower's rough, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 45 minutes from Manheim. Outbound just 38 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 55 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 44 minutes to 3:55. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford's improved, like I-57, 25 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Tri-State northbound slow from the Stevenson to 31st. Reagan slow to North Avenue, then Deerfield Road to 22. There was a car fire, and southbound it's jammed, 137 to 22. That's due to Gapers, that earlier car fire. I'm Jim Talamonte of the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Special announcement. Backed by popular demand, the big Home Remodeling Expo. A free home show that's open to the public is coming to the DuPage County Fairgrounds this weekend only. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or siding, then this is the event for you. At this two-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services, get new ideas, set up estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Maybe you need a new furnace, state-of-the-art generator, or just a handyman. You'll find everything you need under one roof. Not only will you get a free gift at the door, but come to the show between 10 a.m. and noon on Saturday, May 21st for a chance to win a key that could start a brand new Harley Davidson. Remember, the DuPage County Home Remodeling Expo this weekend only at the Fairgrounds in Wheaton. Get more information at homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
Flex Execs is a talent recruiting firm that for almost 3 decades has helped their clients become more competitive by identifying great talent. Finding the right people to drive your business results is critical. Flex Talent Finder customizes the recruiting process to meet your unique business needs for full-time positions. Flex Execs' U.S.-based recruiters work to find people that not only meet your technical needs, but fit your company culture. They can handle one position or 100 at a cost well below traditional search. Flex identifies the people best for you. Their clients rave about the level of talent, fast results, and ease of doing business. Connect online at flex2016.com or call 630-655-0563 and ask for Chris Swanson or Karen Murphy. That number, 630-655-0563 or online at flex2016.com. Flex Execs, proud to be a sponsor of Dan and Amy's Business Tour. Flex Execs online at flex2016.com. Flex2016.com. Flex Execs, moving business at the speed of trust.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Where are the clouds? Who sings this? Judy Collins.
This is the Barbra Streisand version, I think, isn't it?
No, this is Judy Collins.
This is Barbra Streisand. Is it?
This is not Barbra Streisand.
Hold on. Oh, maybe it is Judy Collins, you're right.
Finally knowing. I just can't get through it.
Stephen Sondheim just called. He said, please do not ruin his song. Let Judy Collins sing it.
Because last night I saw The King and I at the...
Is that the... Yeah, I think so.
But you should go see The King and I before it's done, all right, Dan?
I heart the lyric opera. I go routinely.
Okay.
I am
but
a
do you
man
like
of
musicals?
letters and culture.
All right. Do you like musicals, though?
I do.
What's your favorite musical? Wait, here, I have a suggestion. Could it be The King and I?
Yeah, that's what it is.
But it's just spectacular.
Okay.
All right, you go on. I'm going to keep reading my cast.
Well, they're not only sending in the clowns and the therapy horses, the little Shetland ponies at airports around the country to help people cope with long lines through TSA.
And that's a true story. That's at Cincinnati's airport. They have little ponies to help stressed travelers.
Yeah, and to give Chicago Democrat politicians something to do while if they have a layover in Cincinnati.
And the clowns.
Come on, little guy. You and bring Mike Madigan too, the two of you.
And John Cullerton.
We got enough horses for all the Chicago Dem politicians. But in addition to that, we have the mighty TSA players.
Yes.
Volunteers doing a little summer stock at Midway yesterday. They demonstrated the problem that passengers, air travelers, present.
Well, first of all, TSA, I think they called in sick over the weekend to create these long lines, to create a problem.
Well, that's what we were talking about.
But yet they have time to volunteer to pretend to be, overpacked passengers because it's their fault. Now it's ours. It's a shaming tactic.
Let me set the plot line here.
Please.
10 volunteers, a few carrying more than one bag or personal item, went through the line twice. Once without any restricted items. And then a second time with various people carrying a water bottle, a firearm, a knife, or a laptop computer in the bag.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
I think I remember seeing this in the airplane movie. TSA officials said, this little play, the upshot here, it took more than 6 minutes to go through the line with the forbidden items.
Such as the firearm and the knife, which we all know not to bring.
But less than 2 minutes when the volunteers weren't carrying anything problematic. So you see, if you're going to bring, you can bring firearms and knives on the planes. TSA is not going to catch you. They've made that clear. It's just going to take 4 minutes longer. So if you're thinking about bringing a firearm or a rocket-propelled grenade launcher on your next flight, just get there a little bit earlier so that the people, so you're not holding up people that are not bringing those illicit items on the plane.
I mean, what is wrong with this government agency a lot? And that little show and tell yesterday is embarrassing.
He's got a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Hear about the big stories of the day. then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, this is David Hall from Draft Tech. So you're an engineer or manager at one of the many chemical, petrochemical, or pharmaceutical plants in Chicagoland. You want to take advantage of all the built-in niceties that come along with the new Plant Suite software that's out there. The instrument lists, the reports, the inventories, the ISOs, everything that makes your job easier. You've got two problems. One, it's not 1990, and you can't just pull a kid out of junior college and expect them to make the program sing. And two, if you don't know what you're doing with these programs, you not only can screw things up, we've seen it all, and we can help you navigate through all the potential problems and avoid all the pitfalls. Check us out at draftingresults.com. Cutting edge technology, old school service. Check us out at draftingresults.com.
Guys, if you've been using or wanting to try Viagra but are worried about the costs, we have great news. Now you can finally get real results at huge discounts with our Healthy Man alternative to the little blue pill. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get results for a fraction of the price? Call today and get 40 pills for only $99. Others cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want real results at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill for Viagra when you can get real results for less than $3 per pill. Call 800-375-1270 today and save over $500. You can have those breathtaking, toe-curling moments again and again. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Call right now and we'll rush you your supply delivered discreetly to your door. Just call 800-375-1270. That's 800-375-1270. Again, 800-375-1270.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 7:37, we'll have Dr. Sebastian Gorka, counterinsurgency and counterterrorism expert, to talk about that downed Egypt air flight.
And later, Prince fans, listen up. The attorney representing one of Princess's niece will be joining us. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Egyptian officials say they have found some debris from Egypt Air jetliner that disappeared over the Mediterranean. The Civil Aviation Ministry of Egypt says the wreckage and some passenger belongings were found early this morning. Former NTSB Chairman Jim Hall says he's hopeful Egypt's government will be more transparent in this investigation.
I'm hopeful that this administration will be more forthcoming and more transparent, because these investigations are important to everybody that flies in commercial aviation around the world.
Hillary Clinton says Donald Trump is not qualified to be president. In an interview on CNN yesterday, Clinton made the claim. Trump hit back this morning, tweeting that it's actually Clinton who's not qualified. Meantime, Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders says he wants another debate with Hillary Clinton ahead of California's June 7 primary.
I think it is very important that Secretary Clinton and I have the opportunity before the largest state in this country to debate the important issues. I hope very much she will accept an invitation to debate.
Sanders' spokesperson says the proposed debate will happen if there's a mutual agreement on moderators. Nearly 500,000 Jeep Wranglers are being recalled. Fiat Chrysler officials say the driver's side airbag may fail to inflate in the event of a crash because of dust gathered in the steering column from off-roading. There have been no reported injuries. Chicago police are investigating after a 16-year-old boy was shot to death on the south side. State police tell us this morning a person was shot on the Dan Ryan Expressway last night, driving between 87th and 95th. And if you're looking for something really unique to give someone for a birthday, how about this? A Northern California distillery is selling vodka made from San Francisco Fog. The limited batch is called Fog Point. It will cost vodka lovers $125 a bottle. The Hangar One distillery came up with the idea while looking for ways to work with sustainable water. Chicago sports, Milwaukee over the Cubs 5-3, White Sox over Houston 2-1. The news, a service of Burger King's breakfast. Right now at Burger King, get an awesome deal on breakfast. 2 Chris Sandwich breakfast sandwiches, just $4, piled high with thick-cut bacon or savory sausage, fluffy eggs, and melted cheese. 2 Chris Sandwich for $4, only at Burger King. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager wants to know where the money will come from.
Do people not understand, and this is not a rhetorical question, do people who vote for Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders not understand that all of these programs cost money? That's what they believe. There's an inexhaustible, because the rich are so rich, and they'll just get more money from them.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Tea times, golf outings, driving range, golf academy, brunch, dinner, weddings, banquets, receptions. Find and do it all at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Info online at BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
This is your captain speaking. You are now free to roam.
Fact. College Illinois 529 prepaid tuition can help pay tuition at schools across the nation, not just in Illinois. Purchase now and lock in your college cost at today's plan rates before the May 31st deadline. Enroll today at collegeillinois.org.
This hourly segment is...
That's Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 5/31/16.
7:35 at our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has delays from Harlem to the Burn Circle. It's 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, and traffic is a service of TimeshareExitTeam.com. Feel like you're trapped in your timeshare contract? Get out now safely and legitimately at TimeshareExitTeam.com. It will get you out or give you a full refund. Call 844-321-EXIT. 844-321-EXIT. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. And your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, clouds and sun today, high near 69. Partly cloudy and 49 overnight. Currently 49 at O'Hare, 55 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by North State Steel, building America with products made in the USA. Visit northstatesteel.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, talking about finding out what it means if, as intelligence agents for the Russian government, the Egyptian government, the French government, the U.S. government, if what they believe to be true, which is that Egypt Air Flight was downed by a bomb on the plane as a act of terrorism by a jihadist group, Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. What does that mean, and what was the message that the terrorist group was trying to send potentially specifically to Egypt and other erstwhile anti-jihadists?
And breaking news, a body part has been found as well as parts of the fuselage, and then some of the passenger suitcases have been picked up by the Egyptian armed forces.
Well, that's going to be bad news to that meteorologist, Jean-Claude Van Damme, who still thinks there's survivors or something, right?
Yeah, he still thinks that. He still said early this morning that it is a search and rescue mission instead of just a recovery mission.
This is still considered a search and rescue operation, so weather, which is fine at the moment, is also a consideration, but so are the water temperatures for the potential of survivors in the water. 65 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit over the eastern Mediterranean as we speak, and if we consider the survival rates for this type of water temperature, 60 to 70 degrees, it depends on if you're a healthy individual, young, or an elderly individual. It really depends, but roughly from 2 hours to about 40 hours.
Yeah.
And he had a pie chart showing, your survival rate, because I'm sure that's what victims' family members want to see when they turn on the news.
That body part kind of cuts into his theory a little bit, not to be gruesome, but I mean, it's just so silly, and you have these idiots vamping.
He's a meteorologist.
Talking about this stuff. I know he wants his breakout moment, but not helping the situation. That's why we don't talk to meteorologists. We talk to counterterrorism experts, and we're happy to be joined now by such an individual. He is Dr. Sebastian Gorka. He's the author of the book, Defeating Jihad, The Winnable War. Dr. Gorka, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on your show.
So just going back to kind of how I opened the segment about if this was a terrorist attack as suspected, is there a message that the responsible party, whoever that may be, is trying to send President Sisi and the region?
Absolutely. If this does turn out to be a terrorist threat, then the symbolism and terrorism is very much about the generation of fear through the use of symbolic targets. The fact that the plane originated in Paris, where we've seen multiple jihadi attacks in recent months, and headed to Cairo, to the capital of Egypt, would be very, very significant. Remember, the Muslim Brotherhood is the grandfather of all jihadi groups, Al-Qaeda and ISIS included. The Brotherhood was created in Egypt in 1928, and just recently, President Sisi has declared war on the Brotherhood, on ISIS. He is the front line in this war. He's a devout Muslim, but he's a patriot before he's a Muslim. He told me that when I met him a few years ago before he became president. And ISIS, in the form of Ansar Bayt al-Maqdis, has a very, very large and active terrorist affiliate in Egypt, in the Sinai. So this would have great symbolic value to the terrorists.
Now we know that French officials are interviewing people on the ground, baggage claim handlers, people who put on the food and beverage carts. But do you think there's any possibility, or your sources saying that it could have been planted on the aircraft before it landed at Charles de Gaulle Airport?
I have one source yesterday from a very reliable individual who said that there is a possibility, a distinct possibility, that it could actually have been put on the aircraft in Cairo before it left for its various legs around North Africa and Europe, and then only detonated on the last leg back to Egypt. We will have to wait and see. This is going to be very difficult to reconstruct the events, given that the explosion or the fatal event happened over the open waters of the Mediterranean. But let's wait and see. Let's give the professionals some time to work that issue.
Just sticking on the topic of combating the global jihadi movement, and testimony before the House Armed Services Committee earlier this year, you said, what I've been trying to convince this city, meaning D.C., of for many years is that we have not even begun to engage in the information operations battlefield. What did you mean by that?
Well, I meant very simply, and this is also why I wrote the book Defeating Jihad, that this war isn't just about killing bad guys. Using body bags as your metric of success isn't very clever. We tried that during Vietnam. It wasn't clever then. It isn't clever now. The ultimate victory will occur when we delegitimize and destroy the ideology of the enemy, just like we did with the communist ideology of the Soviets. So we have to take the fight to the jihadis on the battlefield of ideas, and this administration refuses to do so because they deny what the enemy believes. You're not allowed to discuss religion, and the White House has said again and again and again that these kinds of terrorists are motivated by unemployment and lack of education, which, of course, is utterly fallacious.
Well, it's interesting because you come to this from an important perspective as the son of parents who fled Hungary during the 1956 revolution against the communists. So talking about defeating ideology, are there lessons to be learned from defeating the Soviet ideology that are applicable to radical Islamism?
Well, absolutely, and that's the template that I use for defeating jihad for the book. I look at what we did during the Cold War, how it was immensely successful, and one of the key aspects is we had leaders who were prepared to talk truthfully about who the enemy was. Remember President Reagan's seminal Evil Empire speech. Remember the final nail in the coffin when he said, "Tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev." That's what I'm talking about. Leadership that destroys, that targets and destroys the ideology, the narrative of the enemy. We haven't even begun to do that in the last 15 years. So I have used the Cold War as my model in defeating jihad for how to take down this new form of totalitarianism. Because for me, with my family background, I immediately recognized what 9/11 was about. 9/11 is about a new form of totalitarianism. It's religious, it's not communist, it's not fascist, but these guys are totalitarians.
He is Dr. Sebastian Gorka, the book, Defeating Jihad, The Winnable War. Dr. Gorka, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime. My pleasure.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some high clouds right now, but maybe some sunshine by this afternoon, a high of 69 degrees. But it's going to be great around here for your weekend. Finally, a taste of spring, that's for sure. Tomorrow we're going to have times of clouds and sun, a high of 71. And on Sunday...
That was my band name, Taste of Spring.
Taste of Spring? Oh, that's a good one.
It was a Christopher Cross cover band.
Oh, yeah. On Sunday, it's going to be mostly sunny, very pleasant, a high of 75. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy and Dan, traffic is sailing along nicely on I-57 and the Bishop Ford Freeway. Earlier, they were really jammed, but now both delay-free. The Edens is 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. The Kennedy with delays Sayre to the Burn Circle, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35. The Ike, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 50 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 55 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44. Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State in recovery mode after an earlier car fire near 22. Southbound, still heavy, 120 to Everett. Northbound, slow 95th to 87th. Plainfield Road to 47th. And Roosevelt to North Avenue. It's now fine, up around 22. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Once in your life, you find
We're so excited about our sold-out golf outing at the Bolingbrook Golf Club coming up on Thursday, June 16th to benefit Operation Support Our Troops America.
Nice. If you weren't able to get in this year, don't worry. You can still reserve a tee time at the Bolingbrook Golf Club anytime this spring or summer by visiting BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
And thanks to the sponsors who are making our golf outing possible.
Remax Professionals, Charity Golf International, Dr. Amy and Associates, MJ Miller and Company Jewelers in Barrington, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and Pearl Mortgage.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
World, say hello to my 9 little friends. Remember us? We used to spend a lot of time with you, but that was before I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? But what was a big toe like me supposed to do, eh? We tried doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery, but with that I could lose my nail, and there's still no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. Then I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. Clear Touch is painless because it uses light, light, to travel fast and deep. All that time in hiding and this simple solution was right there at Clear Touch? Well, Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. So if you're hiding your little friends, get Clear Touch. Now listen to the man.
Call 800-278-7144. That's 800-278-7144. That's 800-278-7144 or cleartouchnails.com.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Still hurts that he's gone.
Well, I'll tell you what, and there's been a lot of reporting about his estate with Prince's passing, and it starts with the incredible notion that someone with a $300 million fortune could have died intestate, could have died without a will. And it's, of course, spurred all these people coming forward saying they're related to Prince and making claims and coverage about Minnesota probate law and all kinds of things. To try and make some sense of this, we have an actual attorney at law who practices in this area and represents Prince's niece, Brianna Nelson, and grandniece, Victoria Nelson. He is Andrew Stoltman of Stoltman Law Offices, and he joins us now. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Happy to be here.
So why don't you kind of set the table and set the record straight with respect to where this probate matter currently stands and what misinformation has been put out there that needs correcting?
Well, we are probably in about inning 1 right now of a 9-inning game. And the fact that Prince died without a will, of course, is absolutely stunning. You know, a gentleman with a $300 million fortune. I mean, the fact that he didn't have a will and didn't take basic estate planning steps probably means he will have to turn over his estate will close to $150 million to the government. Because as you guys probably know, you know, federal law says on amounts over $5 million, the estate tax is 40% on every dollar over $5 million, and it gets worse. In Minnesota, it's 16% on every dollar over $10 million. So you're looking at over 50% of Prince's estate going directly to the federal or state government. Just amazing.
Well, what about all these people? I mean, 2 more people came forward Wednesday claiming to be heirs to Prince. What kind of genetic testing is in place to prove whether they are or not related to Prince? And also, you've got that 39-year-old man in prison who claims that his mother had sex with Prince in a Kansas City hotel room in 1976.
Yeah, I mean, look, people are coming out of the woodwork. That's the bad news. Good news is in Minnesota, just like in Illinois, there's a real set line of succession, if you will, with respect to who inherits what. And it's if you don't have a spouse, if you don't have kids, then it's going to go to your brothers and sisters. And the good news is that there likely will be genetic testing ordered because I think some 730 people have now claimed to be an heir.
Wow.
So there will be genetic testing. The people are going to have to pay for it, which should probably deter some people. That'll probably cost about $500 a person. So
that'll get it down to about 2 dozen.
Yeah, you know, the guy who lives in Kansas City who's just making it up probably won't shell out the $500 to have himself genetically tested, but we'll see.
Now your clients, Brianna Nelson, niece, and Victoria Nelson, grandniece, are they still in the process of working out who gets the Raspberry Beret and who gets the little red Corvette?
You know, it's funny you say that because I have had to try and use every ounce of strength not to, in court, make some sort of comment like that about partying like it's 1999 or coming there in a red Corvette or wearing a Raspberry Beret. But, you know,
or liking cream.
That's right. That's right. You know, fortunately, my clients are basically the kids of Dwayne Nelson, and Dwayne Nelson was one of Prince's half brothers, not stepbrothers, half brothers. Prince and Dwayne Nelson shared the same dad. So the good news for my clients is that under Minnesota intestate law, they are entitled to about a 1/7 share of the estate. Now, we're going to have to prove that. You know, we're going to be able to do that. We filed something with the birth certificate showing John Nelson as the biological father. We'll do the testing, all that stuff. And we actually welcome the testing because we want these people who aren't heirs, obviously, not to get any money.
So Dwayne Nelson is the half-brother who died, right?
Yes, he died. He was the head of Prince's security team for about 12 or 13 years. He was a half-brother, grew up with Prince, very close to him.
What about Prince's attorneys or financial advisors? Can they be sued for malpractice by your clients for not getting a will inked
Giving
from
it all
this
to
guy?
The state of Minnesota.
Right. No. You know, look, Prince, there's an interview where Prince said that he believed he was going to live for 3,000 years. So maybe he was going to get the will in the 2,900-year period. But
missed it by that much.
Yeah, right. It's amazing how many wealthy, sophisticated people with teams of attorneys and experts simply die without a will because nobody likes to think about dying. So if they can put that will off for as long as possible, people do it. And then before you know it, they die.
Yeah, it's going to happen to all of us. Newsflash. But what was in the vault and the property that was in the vault, if that is sold, where do those proceeds go?
Well, there reportedly was literally hundreds, if not thousands, of master tapes of songs that Prince created. And, he was a prolific songwriter, not just for himself, but for other people like Sinead O'Connor and other folks like that. So those will be extraordinarily valuable. So while the estate might be depleted by $150 million, just like we saw with Tupac's death, with Elvis Presley's, with Michael Jackson, the sheer volume of downloads, the music, potentially turning Paisley Park into the next Graceland, potentially doing a Las Vegas show like Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson's estates have done. There are a lot of different revenue sources that could really make the estate a lot of money.
So, maybe there are still some songs that he recorded with Sheena Easton that are going to come forward.
It's Dan's crush.
Well, I know Amy would like that, but we'll see if it's either with Sheena or maybe with somebody else.
So how long until this is worked out? Are we talking months down the road, years?
No. Unfortunately, we're probably talking about years. Look, Michael Jackson actually had a will, and his estate, at least parts of it, are still being fought over. So this is a very, very long process.
All right, Andrew Stoltman, lawyer for Brianna Nelson, the niece, and Victoria Nelson, the grandniece of Prince. Thanks so much for joining us and clearing up some of the matters with respect to Prince's estate. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Novelist and philosopher Ayn Rand was a teenager when the Soviets first allowed foreign films to be shown in Russian movie theaters. The shots of streets and skylines offered Rand the first precious glimpses of a land that resonated with her vision of the ideal, America. America, a land dedicated to protecting the freedom of the individual, stood in sharp contrast to the collectivism of communist Russia where she grew up. Rand would eventually escape Russia and immigrate to America, a place where society thrived and each individual was free to pursue his own life and happiness. She described it as the greatest, the noblest, and in its original founding principles, the only moral country in the history of the world. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Mark your calendar, Chicago, for Tuesday, June 7th at the Langham Hotel for the 5th Annual Atlas Shrugged Revolution Dinner. This event has everything: a worthy cause, engaging speakers including AM 560's Joe Walsh, a beautiful venue, and fantastic food. Plus, it's your chance to target your support of the Ayn Rand Institute for students in the Chicagoland area. Complete details are online at aynrand.org/Chicago. That's aynrand.org/Chicago.
David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. Tony has heard hundreds of David's ads, but wanted to contact a realtor before purchasing a home in Naperville. Bad move, says David. Not getting pre-qualified by David before talking with a realtor is like going commando while wearing white pants. Wow, really? David answered Tony's questions, pre-qualified him to purchase a home, and introduced her to Kate Waddle, his Home Sweet Home Chicago radio show realtor in Naperville, to purchase a home. Now, purchasing a home can be overwhelming, but it won't be if you call David first. He can pre-qualify you for free, introduce you to his team of preferred realtors who will locate that perfect home for you. Here's what you do. Call David now, 312-751-1333. 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David has helped thousands of WIND listeners, and he can't help you, though, if you don't call 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Mike Rowe here with a quick IAQ test for my buddy Bill.
Wait, I didn't study.
IAQ stands for Indoor Air Quality, something 1 hour excels at.
Well, I aced my SATs, so...
Yes or no? Do you breathe inside your home?
Yeah.
And what do you breathe?
Air.
And what's in that air?
Air?
Sorry, we were looking for dust mites, household pollutants, even formaldehyde.
Wait, I need to move.
Or you could call 1 hour and improve your IAQ.
That sounds smarter.
Let's see how you do with the disclaimer.
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Not bad.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Will the Illinois Republican Convention this weekend be like the Nevada Democrat Convention last weekend at 8:08?
And later, a stroller for adults. Oh, yeah, and why a woman was kicked out of a gym. You'll never believe the reason why. But first, here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. A relative and girlfriend are charged in Chicago's Gage Park killings. Chris Sale improves to 9-0 on the baseball season. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Sorrow in Cairo. Tears during prayers at a mosque. Family members of some of the 66 victims of the Egypt airplane crash mourning after search crews found debris but no sign of life from the doomed flight from Paris to Cairo. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, human remains, suitcases, and seats have been found in the Mediterranean, according to Greece's defense minister, who cites Egyptian officials. Earlier this morning, Cairo's military confirming debris from Egypt Air Flight 804 was located about 190 miles off the coast from Alexandria. 5 countries, including the U.S., are involved in the search in an attempt to recover the aircraft's black boxes and remaining debris. The French and British will help Egypt take a look at the wreckage in an attempt to ascertain the cause of the crash. Dave.
Jessica, there's been much speculation terrorists might have brought the plane down. FBI Director James Comey says there's no evidence of it yet, adding the Bureau
is working with our partners around the world to try and gain a better understanding of what happened.
A waste of time today in court in France, where they hauled in the lead terror suspect in the deadly Paris attacks. Fox's Simon Owen live in our European Bureau.
Dave, the next stage in the French justice process, Salah Abdeslam delivered to a court in Paris to be questioned by judges after being extradited from Belgium, where he'd been hiding out. But Abdeslam's lawyer saying the suspect invoked his right to silence without giving a reason. He has previously said he will cooperate, and investigators are keen to learn more about ISIS operations in Europe. Dave?
Simon, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are each claiming the other is unfit to be president. Clinton tells CNN the Republicans call for a temporary ban on Muslim visitors to the U.S.
It sends a message of disrespect, and it sends a message that makes the situation inside those countries more difficult.
To me, it's one of the dumber statements I've ever heard.
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun in Chicago. We have 49 degrees. It's 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police are investigating after a 16-year-old boy was found shot to death on the south side. DeMarcus Williams was found dead yesterday near 61st and Evans with a gunshot wound to the head. State police say a person was shot on the Dan Ryan Expressway. A man wounded last night while driving between 87th and 95th Streets. Lanes were shut down as authorities continued their investigation. Jury selection is underway in the murder-for-hire trial of a former suburban police officer accused of plotting to kill the prosecutor who put him behind bars in his third wife's death. 62-year-old Drew Peterson was convicted in 2012 of first-degree murder tied to Kathleen Savio's death. Peterson is charged with soliciting a fellow inmate to find someone he could pay to kill Will County State's Attorney Jim Glasgow. Authorities say one of 2 suspects in the slayings of 6 family members whose bodies were found in a Chicago home in February was related to the family, and the motive was robbery, according to Chief Eugene Roy, who explains what led to the arrest of Diego Uribe.
The break in the case came yesterday when detectives learned that DNA evidence recovered at the scene linked Diego Uribe to the scene. Additionally, cell phone records also link Uribe to the scene.
Uribe and 19-year-old Japheth Ramos are each charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder. Chicago sports. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 5-3. The loss pinned on Jason Hamill. Chris Sale goes the distance on a masterful 4-hitter. White Sox beat Houston 2-1. The news, a service of TimeshareExitTeam.com. If you could get out of your timeshare safely and legitimately, would you? TimeshareExitTeam.com has a 100% guarantee they'll get you out or give you a full refund. 844-321-EXIT. TimeshareExitTeam.com. 844-321-EXIT. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Campbell's Soup earnings were higher in the recent quarter, and it's predicting a stronger year. The company also sells Prego sauces, V8 Pepperidge Farm, and Swanson products. Campbell's business was impacted because of weather, which made it harder for the company to obtain carrots for V8 beverages. Foot Locker's business improved in the recent quarter. Earnings and sales were higher. It expects business to pick up this year. However, sales were not as strong as analysts were predicting. Foot Locker does have exclusive rights to Under Armour's Steph Curry sneaker until the beginning of July. General Motors is expanding its Maven car-sharing service. USA Today says Boston and Washington, D.C. will be served by Maven. It started service in Chicago. Registered users pay at least $8 an hour for a short-term rental. The Dow closed down 91 yesterday. The Nasdaq dropped 26. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosolda.
It's 8:05 in Chicago. Check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. Statistics show that most people will listen to this commercial 7 times before they finally purchase Balance of Nature. Don't be a statistic. Take action to determine your future.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my... It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life. Yeah, I tell everyone to get it, but everyone gives you a wise answer. Oh, just eat good food. Well, how are you going to eat 15 fruits and whatever? Unless you lived on a farm.
I'm doing well. I definitely have more energy, and there's a big improvement.
Begin giving your body the fruits and vegetables it needs every day. Accept and complete Dr. Howard's 120-day health challenge to earn a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Not available in all states. Introducing the most exciting new franchise opportunity in years. Recent Irvy's world's first frozen yogurt vending robot. The revolutionary high-tech, first-of-its-kind approach to frozen yogurt franchising. These robots are a huge hit in malls, movie theaters, supermarkets, practically anywhere. If you're looking to start your own franchise and be the first in your market to unveil this exciting high-profit kiosk, find out how we can help you secure premium locations. Locations are going fast, so act now. Just go to froyofranchising.com. That's froyofranchising.com.
It's the Ready to Ride sales event and time to gear up for your ultimate thrill ride. Hit the open road on a Can-Am Spyder. With its unique Y-frame design, your confidence will only be exceeded by your exhilaration. Hurry in by May 31st and save up to $2,500 on select 2015 Can-Am Spyder models, plus get great financing. Get ready to ride because the fun starts now.
Visit iMotorsports in Elmhurst or online at iMotorsportsinc.com.
Subject to credit approval. Restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
8:07 in our Guardians Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is fine. 19 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, but outbound 30 with slow pockets out to Lake Avenue. Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 30 for Montrose, locals or express. Outbound 35 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour. Thorndale to the post office. 40 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Lakeshore Drive, southbound slow Irving Park to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound, delays are from Washington to Eau Plaine. Northbound from Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial, heavy 75th, the Reagan Tollway at Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds and sun, high 68. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 49. Tomorrow, clouds and sun, high 72. A moonlit sky for tomorrow night with a low 51. Then mostly sunny for Sunday with a high of 75. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 56 at O'Hare, 54 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Do you think that Donald Trump is qualified to be president?
No, I do not.
It's about groping and fondling and touching against a woman's will. And rape. And rape.
Donald Trump using that word unprompted, bringing up a discredited and long-denied accusation against former President Bill Clinton.
The case that we made in part was, look, everyone who works at Facebook probably comes out of a similar culture and shares the same set of political presuppositions. Is that a problem itself? Is it an airless room? And they sort of acknowledged that, yeah, maybe that's a problem.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and we got Ralph holding over. We want to talk about Prince. So at the end of the last hour, we talked to Andrew Stoltman, who's an attorney representing Prince's niece and grandniece with respect to their inheritance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Minnesota law, it states siblings and half-siblings. So Prince's father remarried and had 2 kids and remarried again and had 3 other kids, and it goes on. And Dwayne Nelson died. But now 730-ish people have come forward claiming that they're related to Prince.
Well, that's from our official Prince historian, Amy Jacobson. Ralph and Rantoul, you have a question? Ralph? We did the whole Prince thing, and where did Ralph go?
Because of you, Ralph. One more try.
Ralph.
Bye,
Ralph.
I just find it fascinating that a man who had so much money, I mean, he had that $300 million that he's worth, but he also had 16 other properties in Minnesota worth $30 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes on. And then a home in Spain. I mean,
he's rich. We get it. Yeah,
I know, but
he's famous. He's rich, made a lot of money, sold a lot of records.
Well, does his ex-wife get anything? No. She gets nothing.
Probably why he didn't have a will. Rather have the state of Minnesota get it, not her.
They should have. If they receive $150 million, which they will from him and his estate, they should have a state Prince Day. You know what I mean? How like people declare today's Prince Day or today's Elvis Day, or they should have a Prince Day.
Yeah.
In the state of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to fund a lot of programs with that $150 million.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be spent well.
I'm sure the government officials are very prudent and very judicious with the money.
You can count on a government that was headed by the likes of Jesse the Body Ventura to spend money wisely, let me tell you. So speaking of going bye-bye, although this in this case they're just moving. They're not going on to their eternal reward. Although it is a reward, I guess, to leave Chicago. Chicago continuing to lose population. Perhaps, they may not be voting, or they may not be voting right, but they're voting with their feet, and isn't that the most important vote of all? Chicago lost an estimated 3,000 residents in the year ending June 30th, so last year. Okay. The 7-county region, Chicago metropolitan region, lost about 6,000. Chicago now just 424,000 people ahead of Houston.
424,000? Okay.
Right, as the continent's 4th largest city. Houston, by contrast, during that same period, 12% population growth.
Oh.
Chicago, now 3,000 in a city of 2.7 million, doesn't sound like a lot. But you think about growth, Chicago, 45th among the 54 metropolitan statistical areas in the U.S. of more than 1 million people. 45th out of 54. Why do you think people are leaving?
Because of the taxes. Property taxes going up, and they keep taxing us on. Now we have a garbage tax fee. If you don't shovel, you'll get a ticket. Now if you start chewing tobacco while you're walking down the street, you can get a ticket. I mean, it just doesn't stop. There's so many restrictions. Now you have to be 21 to buy tobacco. It just keeps going. It doesn't stop. And I want to tell people real quickly, look at your water bill. Everyone should do that because this new garbage fee, they have most single-family homes listed as 2 flats. So it's $80 a month, not $9.99 like they had promised. And then you have to go through this whole thing online to prove that you have a single-family home where all they have to do is look at and turn on the Google Maps and see that you're in a single-family home. But most of the houses on our street are listed as 2 flats and not single-family homes. So just watch your bill. That's my word of advice.
But enough of your personal problems.
Well, no, but I'm saying that should be everybody's problem. But a lot of people don't look at their bills. They just pay it, or they have an accountant just pay it. You got to look at it.
30 some odd taxes and fees that Chicago residents pay and businesses pay. Chief among them, the highest property taxes in the nation. Oh, by the way, in the last decade, Chicago's African American population has plummeted by a tenth.
Wow.
181,000 African Americans have left the city of Chicago in the last decade, and I don't understand. I mean, we've got all the people that the African American community supports in all of the local offices, the city offices, the county offices, the federal offices. So what? I don't understand what the problem is. Why would you leave?
Oh, come on. You know the answer.
I'm confused. No, I'm confused.
I mean, if I lived in Roseland and I finally had the means to be able to move out, I would move out in a hot second.
Well, wait a second.
Or Inglewood or Chatham's not.
Rahm's the mayor, and Daley before him. You know that the black community supported overwhelmingly, and then all the state legislators in Chicago are supported by they're all Democrats, and they're supported overwhelmingly by the black community, and all the city council members in the city of Chicago are Democrats, and they're supported overwhelmingly by the black community, and all the members of Congress that represent the city of Chicago are Democrats, and they're supported by the African American community overwhelmingly. And for the last 15 years, up until 15 months ago, we had a Democrat governor and Democrat constitutional officers for most of that time too, across the board, and they're supported by the African American community in Chicago. So with all of your people in place, the people that you support, I mean, I don't understand why anybody would want to leave, because they're pursuing the policies that you support, and they're the people that you support. So isn't this like the best place to be if you support those policies? This is like Xanadu for Democrats. So why would anybody want to leave the city of Chicago? You're getting what you asked for. I don't understand. I'm very, very confused by this. Maybe Sean from Elmwood Park can help me clear it up.
And here's the snake eating its own tail, telling you it's full. As the only thing they can do is to advance taxation on we the people. Every once in a while, they'll have an idea to increase revenue, whether it is gambling through various machines, through various casinos, or whether it is selling pot. But what they do is even more sickening than the cure. They only allow their patronage patsies, their inside scumbags and lobbyists and lawyers to occupy those businesses instead of opening everything up to the general public. What government has learned is that debt and problems are the crowbar against the citizen. Not only are they a crowbar, they are a leash. The beauty is when people move out, this is not to be, you shouldn't be upset by this. You should celebrate this. Until one day, all that's left is Rahm Emanuel and Rolex Burke and their security staff. And they could all eat each other and take each other's public pensions in lieu of our revenue.
Yeah,
Until we get activated and throw them out. Why can't we throw them out, Dan? Why?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Thanks for the call, Sean. That's why I'm asking, because I don't want to leave Chicago. I like Chicago.
Well, I don't want them to win, because I've thought about moving out, and especially since Rahm Emanuel just, hoodwinked my principal, Troy LaRaviere, because he spoke out against him. I thought, I'm going to move.
He won that election, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, congratulations.
Like the Principals Association, right?
Yeah, but still. And he thinks that he got thrown out because he was running for the head of the Principals Association. No, he got run out because he made a Bernie Sanders ad campaign because he bashed Rahm one too many times, and he questioned the system. And I thought about leaving. Then I thought, no, but they'll win then.
Yeah,
they're going to win. If I move out, that's.
You saw Office Space, right?
I feel like I gave up. Yes.
And Michael Bolton. And, if you don't like your name, why don't you change it? And he said, my name was fine until that ass clown started selling millions of records. Well, it's kind of the same thing. Why should I leave Chicago? The people in charge are the ones who suck.
They're the ones who should leave.
They're the ones who destroy.
I'll help them pack up and move. I'll help them find a nice house in the suburbs.
All those little Shetland Democrats that live within about 5 square miles of one another, the Cullertons and the Hineses and the Madigans and the Jacksons.
Forrest Claypool.
And the Tiny Dancers. I mean, all of these crime families, they should leave. Why should I have to leave just to kind of prove a point? I don't want to leave.
I want them to pay my new garbage fee tax. I'm all up in arms about this.
Bill in Park Ridge.
Yeah, Bill, Dan, the reason why the blacks are leaving, they have no choice. They're being murdered.
No,
These are the people that are getting carried out feet first.
Oh, I know
that's why they're leaving Chicago.
Well, of course that's why, but I don't understand, because the people they wanted are in office. So wouldn't they be running the police department to make sure that black families are protected the same way that well-to-do white families in my neighborhood are protected? That's what I understand. But Bill, that's what
I know. It's this administration's fault. The murders are the mayor's and the police chief's fault, not the people.
Well,
people are just victims.
Well, I understand. I know, but the people who are victims, who are they voting for, and who are they supporting in terms of their representation at every level?
They're voting for Democrat leadership here.
Right?
Why? Don't ask me.
Right. Thanks for the call, Bill. That's kind of my point. I don't get it. You're getting a full heaping helping of what you want in terms of your representation at every level of government and all those civic institutions that are so important to you, from your police and first responders to your schools. So what is the problem? Why are you leaving? This is utopia. Kurt in Park Ridge.
I hate to agree with Sean from Lowell Park, even though he makes me laugh. But, these politicians, they're not humans. They're parasites. And until the host is dead, until everyone leaves, they're going to stick around and just suck the blood out of every one of us until we're all gone.
Well, thanks for the call, Kurt. That's probably true. But, I mean, if you know you have a parasitic infection, then don't you do something about it? Or do you just allow yourself to be devoured?
I don't know. I think a lot of established Democrats, at least in some parts of the city, are waking up to their ways. Yeah, and I think it took something as, maybe as pedestrian as the principal getting fired, but people are turning on Rahm.
What's the evidence of that?
They put up signs that say, "You got Rahmed and never again," and this is the last straw.
Never again. Pathetic. No, it's the last straw until 2019, where I may not vote for Rahm, but I'm going to vote for the next charlatan in line, right? So Kurt Summers.
They're looking for somebody. They're trying to find someone.
They're looking for another Democrat. Tom Dart's going to come here with a rescue dog, or Kurt Summers is going to come doing his Barack Obama impersonation, and they're going to fall hook, line, and sinker for it. They fell hook, line, and sinker for Daley, just like they fell hook, line, and sinker for Rahm, and every other politician in the city, in the county, in the state, and at the federal level, the model that we exported from the city to the state to D.C. Give me a break. These people are complicit in their own demise. And, I understand a lot of other people saying, well, I don't want to go down with the ship with you. You want to go down on this ship? Then, you're going to do it with a small group of people, or an a decreasing group of people, because people are just tired of it. I get it, but I just want people to at least hold themselves accountable for what they've done and stop pretending they're victims. You have been complicit in what this city and county and state have become. Every single one of us here has been. Stop pretending it's somebody else's fault.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one. Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Yeah, I'll have what he said. Yeah, power to the people. Hey, today we're going to have some high clouds, then hopefully some sun by this afternoon, a high of 69 degrees. The weekend looks pretty good. Saturday, times of clouds and sun, a high of 71. And on Sunday, a pleasant day, sunny, a high of 75. But next week, summer arrives in spring. Next week, it's going to be lower to mid 80s. Anything big on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy and Dan, the travel times are big. Even though the population may be shrinking, it's not helping the travel times. The Eisenhower is an hour from Thorndale to downtown. It's 40 minutes from Manheim, outbound 40 to Thorndale. Eden's heavier on the outbound side. It's 25 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound, it's cleared up. 19 minutes Lake Cook to the junction. The Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose. 30 in the Express 2. Outbound 30 minutes downtown to O'Hare. On the inbound Stevenson, looking at 50 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40. And on the inbound Ryan, it's 32 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Lakeshore Drive, southbound slow Irving Park to North Avenue, and 18th to the Stevenson, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. The tollways are improving. We still have some delays on the eastbound Adams Tollway, Roselle to 53. It's a little heavy approaching the River Road Toll, and the Indiana Toll Road has construction delays in Porter County. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Father's Day is just about a month away, so what are you getting Dad for Father's Day? Get him something unique. Give him the gift of a great night's sleep. And you might want to get a MyPillow to do that, but also for health reasons. It's gross, but did you know that 82% of the people don't know that you're supposed to change pillows every 2 years or less? That's because pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin oils, dust mites, that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and really who knows what else. So if you haven't already done so, you need a washable MyPillow, and so does your dad. Heck, I might even buy one for my dog, Bunky. With a 10-year warranty, it's a great gift and a health investment, and you'll sleep better. I know I do. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. So visit MyPillow.com for the 2-for-1 offer. Use the promo code AMY, AMY, for that 2-for-1 offer. Give one to Dad, keep one for yourself. Do it now, 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201 or MyPillow.com, promo code AMY.
World, say hello to some old friends. It's been a long time, but they remember you. They're my toes, and they've been hidden ever since I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? Really ugly stuff that I just couldn't get rid of. Tried several doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery. Of course, with that, you lose your nail, and there's no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. So I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. It's painless because it uses light. Yes, light to travel fast and deep. Can't believe I went so long hiding my toes when this simple, inexpensive solution was waiting right there at Clear Touch. Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. Yeah, my toes saw the light. So, world, I'd appreciate it if you could pass the word about Clear Touch, the phototherapy solution that works. Call 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573 or cleartouchnails.com.
We've all heard commercials where they chatter about how large their inventory is, how big their discounts are. Well, this is where the zinc meets your metal. Gatto Industrial Platers on Roosevelt Road in Chicago is home to North America's largest plating line. They can handle parts up to 27 feet long, weighing up to 8,000 pounds, including a production rack and barrel zinc plating line that can process up to 300 tons of parts each and every day. But Gatto Platers can also handle zinc plating of a small box of screws and all in between, with 24 to 48-hour turnaround service and a fleet of trucks all over Chicagoland. As their owner, George, says, Gatto is big, we're good, and we're easy to work with. Learn why George says what he says at GattoPlaters.com. That's GATTO Platers.com. Or call George at 800-290-1223. Gatto Platers, proud to sponsor AM 560's Feed the Children program. Find them online at GattoPlaters.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about people leaving Chicago and why, when you vote for the Democrats and you're getting Democrats across the board, why leave? It's all good, isn't it? Dave and Niles, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, how are you? Great show.
Good,
Great
thank you.
show. The problem, Dan, too, we have in Niles is that what Chicago does, then the immediate communities around Chicago start copying, and then it spills over in other counties. In Niles, we're just getting nailed with mimicking Chicago-type taxing, with our library board just recently nailing us for another $800,000. Not that they needed the money, but to put it in their coffers. So, our library now costs like $7 million a year just for our area of Niles. So it's just got to stop.
Thanks for the call, David. Right, and every community needs a library. And I'll tell you what, Niles really has gone downhill ever since they kicked the Jacobsons out of their ancestral home.
Exactly. Eminent domain.
Yeah.
Came in and took my grandpa's building.
That was the end of Niles. Bill on the west side.
We've been cursed.
Yeah, how you doing, Dan and Amy? I just got a couple. Actually, I got a question for you. We all know that politics and the media are kind of hand in hand. There's a lot of things that are going on with the chief editors or how they structure, what you guys deliver to the greater audience out there. And my question to you is, what's your personal experience when they do come out and say, you need to say this, you need to deliver our 560 AM radio station that is Democratic, that does support Emanuel, that does support the Black Caucus in Chicago, or you have to bash the police. You gotta keep them down. That's going to sell the Sun-Times. That's going to sell our advertising. We can't go out on a limb and be ultra-conservative, or we really can't tell the truth. We have to kind of skirt around this issue, and it's obvious to the listeners, and I was just curious, what's your opinion about that, and what do you do when you come to those roads about yourself?
Well, first of all, it's never happened to me, either at AM 560 or before I was WLS. Nobody has ever told me what to say or how to say it other than within the bounds of FCC regulations, which is fair.
The 7 swear words.
Thanks for the call, Bill. So that's never happened to me, and that's one of the great things about talk radio, and that's why it's a source for information, a more legitimate source for information, because we're transparent about our views, what we believe, why we believe it, and we have a conversation about it, and we allow for interaction. What happens in newsrooms, I think it's less of directing, you have to say this, you have to say this, you have to take this position. It's very much like the Facebook issue. It's everybody there comes from the same philosophical perspective, and so nobody needs to say anything because you don't even contemplate that there's an alternative point of view.
No, and in newsrooms, they tell you what you need to cover for that day, and you can't interject your opinion. But you can decide who you're going to interview, and that's where the problem lies.
That's the first layer of the bias, right?
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I've been very happy with Balance of Nature. You know what the funny thing is, even when I'm tired, I feel better than I have in so long. I really haven't gotten colds. It's just been great. I've been very, very pleased. More energy. I think it really works. I really do.
Working out, losing weight, and even in the best of times, I can't eat that many vegetables, so it's nice to know I'm getting them.
My husband got a cold, but I didn't. So, hooray! Thank God for Balance of Nature.
It's time you had a Balance of Nature experience in your own life. Call now. Accept and complete Dr. Howard's 120-day challenge to earn a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751 to begin your road to better health. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
Nice. Sing it, Dan. I know you know the words.
Say.
No, but you have to say, ready?
Say.
Who sings this song?
Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson.
I know. I actually knew that one.
They're both dead, right?
No, Paul McCartney's still alive.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, why Dan might go back to the gym. Finally, a reason why Dan Proft might start working out again. We'll explain.
For the air.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say hello to Mike Scott.
That was Jessica Gallagher weighing in on whether Dan should go to the gym or not. 54 degrees outside. We have more clouds than sun right now. Greece's defense ministry says some of the airplane debris that's been spotted in the Mediterranean consists of 2 seats, suitcases, and other items spotted a day after Egypt Air 804 plunged into the sea on its way from Paris to Cairo. We get the very latest on this from Fox's Jessica Gallagher, who is in Fox's Mideast Bureau this morning.
Human remains, suitcases, and seats have been found in the Mediterranean, according to Greece's defense minister, who cites Egyptian officials. Earlier this morning, Cairo's military confirming debris from Egypt Air Flight 804 was located about 190 miles off the coast of Alexandria. 5 countries, including the U.S., are involved in the search in an attempt to recover the aircraft's black boxes and remaining debris. The French and British will help Egypt take a look at the wreckage in an attempt to ascertain what caused the crash. In the Mideast Bureau, Jessica Gallagher, Fox News.
Lawyers say the leading suspect in the Paris terror attacks had nothing to say when he appeared today before judges. So the session ended very quickly today in Paris for Salah Abdul Salam. Authorities in Britain say a man who climbed over a wall and got onto the grounds of Buckingham Palace is a convicted murderer. Dennis Hennessy pleaded guilty in court today to trespassing. He was arrested on the palace grounds Wednesday evening. Former Beastie Boys member John Barry is dead at the age of 52. He helped found that group early in the 1980s and left the group after playing the guitar on its first album. Chicago police are investigating after a 16-year-old boy was shot to death on the south side. Detectives questioned a person of interest last night. No charges have been filed. State police say a person was shot on the Dan Ryan last night, wounded driving between 87th and 95th Streets. A King County worker is dead after he was struck by a pickup filling in potholes in the suburbs. The accident happened yesterday on Harder Road in Blackberry Township. No charges have been filed, but the investigation is ongoing this morning. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 5-3. Jason Hamill the loss. Chris Sale goes the distance. First Major League pitcher since 2008 to win his first 9 starts in the White Sox 2-1 win over Houston. The news, a service of TimeshareExitTeam.com. If you could get out of your timeshare safely and legitimately, would you? TimeshareExitTeam.com has a 100% guarantee they'll get you out or give you a full refund. 844-321-EXIT, 844-321-EXIT, TimeshareExitTeam.com. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says people need to eat their crow and move on.
Don't underestimate the hurt feelings. People have painted themselves into a corner. They've got egg on their face, and pride is a powerful emotion. There's a lot of prideful people now who have to say, okay, I was wrong, didn't think he could get the nomination, didn't think people would get behind him. He's got the nomination. People are behind him.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Peer Maps, the app that turns your phone into a car navigation system with offline maps and turn-by-turn guidance. Get it now at here.com/guide.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
It's an exciting time here at the Highland Park Superstore.
That's right, Al. There's never been a better time to buy.
All of our incredible cars.
All at the lowest prices of the year.
No gimmicks, no slick sales talk.
No goofy spokesman.
No big inflatable apes at the dealership. Just great cars at great prices.
You sure about the inflatable ape? I like those.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Maybe just a little one.
Can someone get Marty a monkey? This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
We're so excited about our sold-out golf outing at the Bolingbrook Golf Club coming up on Thursday, June 16th to benefit Operation Support Our Troops America.
If you weren't able to get in this year, don't worry. You can still reserve a tee time at the Bolingbrook Golf Club anytime this spring or summer by visiting BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
And thanks to the sponsors who are making our golf outing possible.
Remax Professionals, Charity Golf International, Dr. Amy and Associates, MJ Miller and Company Jewelers in Barrington, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and Pearl Mortgage. CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today, CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
8:37 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Eisenhower, it's stop and go from North Avenue to the Tri-State and First Avenue to the Burns Circle. The travel time has come down a bit. It's 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 35 from Manheim. Outbound, it's 35 to Thorndale. The Edens is clear now in both directions. Kennedy inbound. Delays start at Keeler, 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson. Looking at 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound it's clear. Lakeshore Drive southbound heavy Irving Park to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State slow in pockets from Plainfield Road to 31st. Then Roosevelt to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams always sluggish. Roselle to 53. Veterans Memorial, a little slow approaching the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds and sun this morning. This afternoon will top out at 69 and have a partly cloudy low of 49 overnight. 56 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox River Periodontics, Chicagoland specialist with dental implants. To get your smile back, visit implantsforme.com.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so it's official. Gary Johnson is going to be the next president of the United States.
You just told me last hour Donald Trump was going to be
Well,
president.
that's before I listened to the tape, and I found that both Trump and Hillary have been found to be unqualified to be president by each other. Hillary Clinton yesterday with one of the Cuomos, Mario, I think. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Talking, and she was asked the question about Trump's qualifications.
Let me ask you, do you think that Donald Trump is qualified to be president?
No, I do not. And I think in this past week, whether it's attacking Great Britain, praising the leader of North Korea, a despotic dictator who has nuclear weapons, whether it is saying pull out of NATO, let other countries have nuclear weapons, the kinds of positions he is stating and the consequences of those positions, and even the consequences of his statements are not just offensive to people, they are potentially dangerous.
How so?
Yeah.
Dangerous. Oh, I'm scared.
And then Trump tweeted back as his
no.
chosen communication channel that he's rubber and she's glue, and whatever she says bounces off him and sticks to
Issue.
her. But that doesn't rhyme. But I was doing a third person.
Did he really
so she's
tweet
on.
that?
He tweeted she's unqualified. No,
Oh
you
my
are.
God. My dad's bigger than your dad. But she did go on to say that Donald Trump is helping a jihadist recruit, which I thought was a very odd statement.
When you run for president of the United States, the entire world is listening and watching. So when you say we're going to bar all Muslims, you are sending a message to the Muslim world. And you're also sending a message to the terrorists, because we now do have evidence. We have seen how Donald Trump is being used to essentially be a recruiter for more people to join the cause of terrorism.
I mean, that is irresponsible rhetoric right there for Hillary Clinton to say that about Donald Trump.
I think Karen Lewis should be Hillary Clinton's running mate.
Oh, why? Oh, yeah.
Because Karen Lewis says Bruce Rauner is ISIS's new recruit, and Hillary Clinton says Donald Trump is ISIS's new recruiter. Kind of a marriage made in heaven. And, those two could get married these days.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But what
something
bathroom
to
would
think
they
about.
use? Huh?
I don't know.
What bathroom?
I don't want to think about that. What bathroom did Hillary Clinton use in Park Ridge yesterday?
She used a women's washroom at the Pickwick Theater.
Must have bet there. So Hillary Clinton also talking about Donald Trump with respect to despots. I don't think he said nice things about Kim Jong-un, the North Korean despot. And he said he would meet with him. Right. Has Hillary Clinton ever met with a despot that had nuclear weapons? Wasn't she the architect of the Russian reset?
Oh, yeah.
How's that going? Yeah. Wasn't it President Obama whispering sweet nothings into Medvedev's ear about how we can tackle these issues? We can have a...
Once I get reelected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, what's the indictment? By the way, not to mention the actual record, the Clinton foreign policy record is decidedly unimpressive, I would suggest. So who's unqualified to be president? But the issue is not that she's suggesting Trump is unqualified. The issue is whether you think that line of attack from Hillary on Trump will work, because that's what she's really setting up, that he's dangerous and he's reckless, and we can't have a dangerous, reckless person with his finger on the button, with his hand on the rudder, and other metaphors that you might like to employ. Let's go to Mark in Joliet. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Dan. If we're going to talk about reckless and resumes for the president, who was it who forced Mubarak out of office in Egypt and had him replaced by Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood? That would be Obama and Hillary.
That was part of the Arab Spring, don't you know, Mark?
That seems like so long ago, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And
Simpler
look,
times.
These kind of things like the exploded plane didn't happen under Mubarak. So maybe she should put that on her resume.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Scott in Des Plaines.
Come on, Dan and Amy. And who in the heck does she think she is to say what qualifies as a president? According to our Constitution, it states pretty clearly who's qualified to run as a president. And she can keep her 2 cents out of what she has to say. It just goes to show you how they stomp on our Constitution and how they try to get us to think the way they want to.
Thanks for
That's all I got to say.
Thanks for the call, Scott. And don't worry, Trump supporters, reeling from that assault, a rhetorical assault from Hillary Clinton.
I don't think he'll be the same.
Because the Amish are on the way. The Amish are on the way for Donald Trump. The Amish, Mennonites, one of the most conservative blocks of potential voters, and there's a PAC, I'm not kidding, called Amish PAC.
Really?
That is dedicated to turning out the Amish vote. I mean, how bizarre is this election cycle?
That you're vying for the Amish vote, that you have to go door to door because they don't have any electronics. So
Well, think
they're not
about
going to
this.
get that email blast.
Think about this a little bit more specifically. The idea that you're making a play for the Amish vote to elect a reality television star to the presidency. Does that strike anybody as ironic, or is it
Celebrity
just me?
billionaire. Yeah.
This Amish PAC. I mean, and look, it makes some sense.
What's the Amish PAC called? Amish PAC?
It's called Amish PAC.
Hey, how
Yeah.
original.
I'll churn your butter. 34,000 people in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Trump may make Pennsylvania a swing state. This could be a swing vote in Pennsylvania, or one that puts him over the top.
What about Ohio, too?
60,000 Amish in both Pennsylvania and Ohio. We have a little Amish population here in places like Arcola, Illinois. See, I've been down there like to go to events, and you see the covered wagons on the side of the road.
There's a lot of Mennonites in Iowa. I know that they'll probably go after, too.
Yeah.
And Indiana. Don't forget about the Amish in Indiana.
They fled the persecution of Illinois.
Yes, they did.
Rich in Dubuque, Iowa. Are you a Mennonite?
No, but I work with him once in a while.
All right.
Hillary just made a statement about Trump and how many sending the wrong message to terrorists. I wonder how many wrong messages got through her server and got through the terrorists. But anyway, a while ago, somebody called in and he met a politician on the airplane and said, "How about getting behind Ted Cruz?" And he said, "Well, that'll never happen." Well, guess what happened? Somebody almost like Ted Cruz got in. And maybe someday a reporter can go to prison and ask Hillary what she thinks of the war, if he's qualified to run the prison that she's staying at. Anything can happen, Hillary.
Thanks for the call, Rich. Let's go to Ron in West Chicago.
Morning, Jay. Good morning, Amy.
Morning.
The only thing I have to say is that any time that so-called woman opens her mouth and says anything, all you have to do is remember these little words. Ambassador Chris Stevens could not be reached for comment.
All right. Thanks, Ron. Ambassador Chris Stevens could not be reached. Steve on the South Side.
Hey, how you doing? Look back in history, and there's a shady Dr. Q was his name, and he was proliferating nuclear technology all during the previous Billy's tenure as president. So for her to talk about nuclear proliferation, take a look at what happened under Billy's watch and how it proliferated there.
Thanks for the call, Steve. And was that an Austin Powers character?
Hello, this is Dr. Neil Clark Warren for eHillary.com. Do you want to connect with people via email, but you don't want anyone to find out? eHillary.com is for you. Message anyone you want. Secret lover, secret service, secret donors to your husband's foundation. We have hundreds of special private servers that will make sure everything you do is hidden from any congressional investigation.
I've been a huge fan of eHillary.com for years. We've got our own private server. I tell you, there ain't no paper trail. I don't care if you're Trey Gowdy, Daryl Issa, or Kenneth Starr. They can't trace a thing.
Bill, is that you?
Oh, shoot. I gotta run. Coming, honey.
eHillary.com. Stop waiting. Start communicating in secret today.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Some high clouds right now, but we should have some peaks of sunshine by this afternoon. A high of 69 degrees. The weekend looks spectacular. Saturday, partly sunny skies, a high of 71. And on Sunday, very pleasant, mostly sunny, a high of 75. Any pleasant actions on the roadways? And how's that inbound Kennedy, Jim Talamonte?
Well, Amy, the travel time's come down a bit. You'll be happy to hear. Still slow from Keeler to the Burn Circle. 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose. No savings in the Express. The Ohio feeder is heavy. Outbound, it's 30 minutes from downtown to the airport. Still Montrose to Sayre. Edens is pleasant enough. 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. It's fine. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 35 from Manheim. Outbound is 32 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive is easing up. Still heavy southbound, Belmont to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound Roosevelt to Jackson. Northbound Tri-States, though, Ogden to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Adams Tollway heavy, Roselle to 53. The other Illinois tollways are looking good. The Indiana Toll Road does have construction delays in Porter County. I'm Jim Talamonte
You
from
do
the
not
Guardian Security
stop.
Services Traffic Center.
I'm going to take
On
these
AM
100
560
and
The
run
Answer,
over you.
we talk about the important issues that
I
affect
didn't
your
pay that
world.
any
Things like the
attention. I
economy, education,
Miss
and
Colbert
foreign
was my
policy.
6th grade
There's
elementary
always so
school
much going on
teacher,
in the news
and
that
she
we
was
don't
as
always have
tough
the
then
time
as
to
she is
focus in
now.
and talk about the
I
big
didn't pay
ideas
that
behind
any
the important
attention. I
issues.
didn't
Enter
feel like
Upstream
I'd broken
Ideas
any record.
online at upstream-ideas.com.
Almost
Upstream
broke a set
Ideas,
falling
in
down.
partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute,
I'm gonna
provides
take
the
these
kind of information
100s
that
and run
informs the
over you.
policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate,
do not
move beyond
stop.
partisan
Go
assumptions,
ahead.
and
You'll
challenge
have
accepted
some
beliefs. Upstream
trials
Ideas
and you'll
goes
have
against the
something
current
that
and
get
thinks
in your
upstream.
way, but
Go
you
online
don't
now
let
at
it get you down.
upstream-ideas.com.
Get it?
That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Great talent is the driving force behind your successful business. If you don't have the right people in key roles, then you have talent gaps. IMC Solutions identifies those gaps and delivers expertise in recruiting the right talent to fill them, leaving you free to succeed.
Hi, I'm Linda Nichols. A past client called because they don't have an HR department, but they need HR expertise and knowledge to do things like write job descriptions, revise employee handbooks, manage compliance and benefits. We help them by providing on-demand HR services. It was on a part-time basis and a project basis. Our consultant spent time with the client but was able to do most of the work off-site, sparing the client's time and resources. As the client grows, the consulting time can adjust to their needs.
IMC Solutions understands the unique challenges of your business, making the tough job of hiring easy. Get started on finding your next hire today at imcsolutions.com or call Linda Nichols at 630-637-6200.
In business, risks and rewards come with every decision, like moving to the cloud with Office 365. While its benefits include anywhere access and lower costs, cyber threats and user errors can quickly wipe out data and the money you save. Barracuda Essentials for Office 365 provide an added layer of security and functionality for threat protection, email migration, data recovery, and quality of service. Move securely to Office 365. Visit barracuda.com/essentials to learn more.
Do you have acne or even the occasional breakout? With prescription grade Proactive Plus, your acne can heal and you can prevent future breakouts. Try Proactive Plus 100% risk-free. Plus, get 2 free gifts and free shipping. Take it from me, Proactive really works. Get prescription grade Proactive Plus, their amazing skin purifying mask, and a second gift of your choice. Totally free and free shipping. You're guaranteed to get clear and stay clear, or you don't pay a penny. Call now. 800-281-8770. 800-281-8770.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Okay, Dan.
That's by the way, the new Trump campaign song could be Weird Al's Amish Paradise. I just thought of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Put that on a shirt. Anyway, I have a challenge for you. I think we need to get you back to the gym, or you might call it the gym. But there's a woman who might inspire you.
Yeah.
She's a 100-year-old woman, and she is a former 6th grade teacher named Allie Mae, and she ran the 100-meter dash because she's 100 years old and she was trying to break a record. But while she was starting off the starting block, she fell on her face.
You do not stop. Go ahead. You'll have some trials and you'll have something that get in your way, but you don't let it get you down.
So after she fell on her face, they put a bandage on her chin. I'm sure you saw it, everybody.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Today Show took the high road and didn't show her falling.
What about her? I'd wipe the track
No,
with her.
she's going to take you down to Chinatown.
I'm going to take these 100s and run over you.
She did the 100-meter dash in 46.9 seconds.
Let's give me a break. I mean, I've done the 100-meter dash in 44 flat.
Oh. Okay.
Destroy
Running it
her.
backwards and blindfolded, right?
I would just Ellie
But good
Mae's
for her.
a nice
I mean, this
lady,
is proof
but-
that you can always, get in shape at any point in time in your life.
Yeah.
Because we got to get back to the gym.
Well, I want to get back to the gym now. That's one woman that could inspire me to do it. Here's another.
Yeah.
Her name is Jenna Vecchio. She lives in Ottawa, Canada.
Looks like a very nice lady, very approachable woman.
She was working out with her husband over the weekend at the Movati Athletic Club, where a gym employee approached her and asked her to leave. Why?
Why would she ask you to leave? It's cute that she's working out with her husband.
I think so, too. I think
Sweet.
it's horrible.
No, a family, couples that work out together stay together.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with that saying. Other gym goers complained that Vecchio made them feel uncomfortable because
Oh, did she have a G-string on or something?
because her breasts were too big. And,
Thank you, boob lady.
and she said, I can't help it that my chest may appear larger than some other women's here because of my small frame. I can't do anything about that.
You don't have somebody leave because they have big...
No, you don't.
Boo this man.
No, you don't.
No,
That's exactly right.
discrimination.
That
That's
is
discrimination.
That is the kind of discrimination I have no tolerance for. That has no place in Western civilization, just as you
Yes.
rally to the defense of male strip joint
Yeah.
patrons, just as you're championing their cause. I want to champion the cause of Jenna Vecchio and inspirational women like her in Canada, in the United States, the world over, really, who have been made to feel uncomfortable, who have been forced out of public places of accommodation.
It's boob discrimination. It's boob nation. What else would you like to do, Dan? Dan, I think that this will get you back into
Yeah.
the gym to work out those muscles.
I'd like to take the
To free
exercise
up the
bike next to
fat.
her. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
else I'd like to do.
And let me tell you something. You know what really grinds my gears? You, America.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right. As if your body is working against you, Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
I was involved in a devastating head-on motorcycle accident, which left me broken, battered, and afraid. I turned to Dr. Amy and Associates to care for my broken body. With their help, I healed quickly. I was able to sleep and then